Hello, friends. That's what I tell them at work. So how have I never said that on YouTube? Hello, friends. Um, it says the last time I went live was 2 months ago, and I went live before then, but a lot of them they're kind of like hit and miss at the moment. Like, did I leave it up? Did I make it private? I'm trying to see the actual date of the last one. July 27th. Hey, Kiki girl. How are you doing? July 27th. So that's over 2 months. July 27th? That actually does sound right, though. That sounds right. And then a lot of the ones that I made at the beginning of the year, they're private now. We should have known then when I was making them private, something was up. How are you doing? And y'all have to excuse me. I've had a lingering cold for going on like this is probably like week 2. No, yeah, this is probably like week 2. I have notes, but I wanted to see you just redid your hair. How did you do it? I wanted to see what y'all wanted to talk about. I feel like I always ask that and then it's just whatever I talk about. What does this mean? Y'all, I do not know how to work really any social media platform. It's not just YouTube, it's all of them. Like today I was checking my Snapchat analytics. I was like, how so I don't know what I'm doing. I just be living my life, being myself. But I would say, okay, you gonna take it down so it's curly, or you're gonna leave it in. Whenever I'm like not on here, I would say follow me on Snapchat, but it's totally different. It's more like I don't want to do that the whole time. It's more like glimpses into my day, like what I'm eating, what I might be doing, what I got on. It's like that. It ain't like this. It's different. I haven't tried to braid my hair since like December last year. I did get a haircut though, which this side, I think this over here has a little bit of heat damage. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This side, I can't tell though because I didn't use like a super conditioning deep conditioner after it was straight. But everywhere else seems fine. Um, but I did get a cut, and I actually wanted to big chop again, and I have not big chopped since the first one, which was in high school or this summer going into college probably. And I cut all my hair off, and my hair was probably like this long, if that. And it grew out. It grew out completely my freshman year. Like my hair grows fast. I'm horrible with length retention. Really bad split ends. Oh, you're transitioning. That'll be fun. That's what I did senior year. But I have really, really, really bad split ends. Kiki, it's bad. And this year, so I was looking at old videos of my hair, and it had grew last year, and I had pressed it out and straightened, or I blow dried it out and straightened it myself. And I was like, this is the longest my hair ever been. And I had even made a Snapchat, and I was like, I think my hair finally dropped. All this stuff going on this year and trying to semi keep it done because I really was not putting effort into my looks at all this year. The blow dryer brush thing I was using, I think it started breaking off my ends, and because I wasn't getting it professionally done, I couldn't tell. So when I went and got it done, and she was showing me, I was like, when did my hair break off like this? I was not aware that it was doing that, because I was wearing it curly or those wands. That's one reason why I wanted to cut it all off because it just wasn't healthy, like my normal hair. But I cannot do that the whole time. She cut off enough to where it made a difference. Like my hair was not looking like this prior to getting it cut recently. Like my curls hadn't looked like this in so long. I was like, oh Lord. So thank you. Okay, so this is horrible. If we look at the last live I posted in July, the end of July, it was why didn't you leave? You have always deserved better. And I feel like that is very telling of where I was in that moment, in that place. And I will be honest, I always tell y'all this, the Lord be dealing with me, but like sometimes what me and him are talking about, that's the last thing I want to share on the internet. Sometimes I hear what he's telling me, but I'm not doing it. And so I also don't want to publicly say like this is what he's saying, and then it's like, but I'm not doing it. That look crazy. So I just won't say what he's saying. It's different things. Sometimes I feel bad for not being on here. Sometimes I don't because it's what's best for me. I feel like I've said that once before. Like my mental health is more important to me. Is more important to me than getting on here. And I also know like I am quick to drop everything I got going on if I feel like I just realized that door is open. Is this camera reversed? Is that what's throwing me off? I feel like the camera is flipped for some reason. I think it's flipped because I'm like, y'all can't never see that door open, and I would have noticed that. But it could be how no, the camera slipped. This is not how this be angled. But y'all don't never see that door open. That just threw me off because I could see ain't nothing in there, but it's still like y'all can see that. Anyways, I will gladly just pause everything around me if I feel like I'm not good inside. And I'm realizing that happens more often than not. And to me, like what may seem like off to me and I'm not good inside to me may not be seem or appear that way to other people, but it's like I know me. I know when it's like I'm tussling within or I'm struggling with something, God or something like I know when I'm going through that. So or when I'm not motivated or inspired to do whatever it is, like get on here, talk about certain things. I was posting consistently on TikTok this year. Stop doing that. I'm gonna probably get back to it, but I'm not doing it every day like I was. I was showing my morning routine on Instagram and the other YouTube channel semi consistently. I feel like my priorities shifted um because of work this year and having to go back in. Like, I just had a lot going on. I hate when people tell me they have a lot going on because it'd be like, what do you really have going on? But when I say it, I really do be having a lot going on. Like, I'm trying to adjust to so many things, I'm trying to make certain changes. I'm still trying to heal. And that's something I've really been like, I think, maturing in lately. We're all trying to heal. That's something my boss has been teaching me actually. Like when me and him have like these serious talks, he's always like, we all going through something. We all learning something. We all in different places with other things. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. We are all in different places. But I'm realizing like I be so quick to drop stuff. And it's like, but what if that's the thing I needed to hold on to while I was going through this transition? But I also don't like seeing my evolution on social media. I don't know what that's about. Like right now, if I could delete every video I've ever made on every platform, I would do it. Like, but I should be proud to see how I've grown and changed. But at the same time, it's so like cringy. That's the word I'm using. It's so cringy to see like I was really saying that. I was thinking like that. Like I don't like to always witness that. So there's been growth. Deleting videos, Bible school. Ooh, tell me about it. We gotta catch up. You can't nobody even book me right now. It's so crazy. Like I shut everything down. I just felt it was best for me, truthfully. Like I can't do stuff if my heart not in it. And my heart not in it if I feel like I'm having to really, work on that, no matter how that looks for me. But Um, what was I saying? Speaking of deleting videos, somebody wrote me on Instagram and it was crazy. So I can't tell if I'm just being super disobedient or I don't know. But I had a week where I was going to tell y'all everything God was telling me about kingdom marriage. And I had recorded something and I was going to post it as a short to just kind of give y'all like this is what's been going on. If you want to see those words, because I know y'all can't see those words, I hid them on purpose. I archived them, or yeah, I think it's called archived on YouTube. I hid them all. If I am talking about marriage or love for more than like 50% of the video, I hid it so nobody can see it. I can still see them, but I've barely looked at them myself. And the video I was telling y'all like, you know the songs and just go play them. Like nothing really changes. But I did hide all those. But one of y'all had wrote me on Instagram and was basically asking me about them. Maybe like one or two of them. She was saying she couldn't find them. And I'm like, yeah, I know you can't find them because I hit them on purpose. Like at first I hit them because I thought I wanted to keep my relationship like secret and private, and like the world never should have been able to have access to this, even though I was real heavy on like documenting my faith and my journey to being married. And that was the first reason I was like, let me hide all these, like for protection, for me, for them, you know. But then as time went on, it was like, no, I really just regret this entirely. Like I regret all of this entirely. And I knew I wasn't going to delete them though, because I know at some point, again, I'll be glad I put them up. But just right now, I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to look at them. I didn't want to be reminded of any of the words. And do y'all know how crazy it is when you trying to like low key run and it's like people like, hey, Meg, like really the reason I'm on here this week is because I was getting convicted about not being on here. And it'll be like an influx of comments on old things. And I'm like, dang, like that means they're thinking about me. Or either the algorithm is popping my stuff up. And it'll just be a lot of like, why is my YouTube going off and I ain't posting nothing? So that's part of why I got back on. But yeah, those videos are hidden. I watched a lot of Charmed this year. I just recently stopped because the homie was telling me like stop watching crazy stuff. Like see if that'll help you stop having bad dreams. And to an extent, like might be right, but I also don't believe that because when I was younger, I hated scary stuff. I never watched scary stuff. I hated scary stuff because I always dreamt of scary stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I hadn't watched something scary to be having them dreams. So sometimes I just don't believe people and they be like, oh, it's what you're watching. I'm like, no, it's not. Like I just have dreams like this. And I was talking to somebody recently. It's so crazy. I was talking to somebody recently and they was telling me they was little. They asked God to take their dreams away. And I was like, yeah, I didn't do that when I was little. I did that as an adult. And then I realized I shouldn't have been asking God that, like, because that is how he talks to me. And having that gift is a blessing. But sometimes it's just like, I did not ask for this though. Like even now, like, I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to think about this. I'm giving her a list of all this stuff. And I can't control it. I cannot control it. I wish I could. Because if I could, I would wake up and just turn it off. But it doesn't work like that. Like the dream I had last night, it was like just the mere mention of like, I'll talk to y'all soon. God was showing me stuff. And I was like, this isn't even for me. Like I knew that when I woke up. I was like, this is not for me. I don't know who this is for, but it's not for me, God. And it was just so crazy to me. But I was also telling my mom, I recognize God shows me so much because I really do have pure intentions with people. I don't, even in the most, delusional, manipulative, controlling efforts of mine, it's because I genuinely believed I loved somebody or cared about somebody. So I moved with that intention. It was pure. And I really do think God shows me so much because of that. Like I'm not out to get nobody. I'm not trying to make nobody stumble. I'm not trying to mislead nobody. Like, that's never my intention. And I really feel like because my intentions with people are so good, he just shows me a bunch of stuff. I don't know. But she was saying she had asked God to take him away, and he did. And I was like, see, that scares me, because as much as sometimes I don't want to have my gifts or be able to see, I think to not be able to would creep me out too. Like, hold on, I don't know what to do. Like, God be talking to me like this all the time. I don't know what to do. So it's been a lot. I feel like every area of my life, it's just been a lot. And I don't like talking about everything. Contrary to popular belief, everybody think I love talking on the internet. I don't. I do love to talk, but I don't love talking on the internet like that. So that was going on. My neighbors out here walking off, and the babies are outside and everything. So vocal lessons. Ooh, no scary movies. Yeah, we really need to catch up. I said I was gonna open. I said I was gonna open my books after Labor Day, but the government shut down, which reminds me to post something at 6. And considering I work for the government, that has affected me. Not as bad as you would think. Like, it's so crazy. So I'll tell you everything. Let's rewind. 5 years ago, 2020, I was telling my boss, like, I was crying and I was trying to quit my job. I was telling my boss, I was telling my mentors, like, I'm ready to leave. And I remember telling God, like, I just can't come in here every day. This ain't gonna work for me. Like, why don't they let us telework? Like, I was literally telling everybody that, like, I don't understand why the Army don't let us telework. This is so crazy. And I went TDY out of town, like, that January, like the end of that January. I didn't like it. I was mad because they always had me traveling because I didn't have kids. I wasn't married. Like, that irritated me so bad. Like, okay, but I don't want to be traveling for y'all. I don't want to be doing this stuff for y'all. Like, I've always felt like that since I started working. And I kid y'all not, like, mid-March. So what's that, like 6 weeks later? 6 weeks later, COVID happened, and we teleworked for 5 years. So I loved it because I was literally going to leave this job. And my mentor at the time, she also was telling me, like, she had just had a baby, and when she had her baby, she left for 6 months. I was like, girl, I'm not you. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I can never do that. Not because, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a life like that. And that kind of hits like something I want to talk about. Like, I'm not saying you, I'm saying you, because I've been trying to do this these last months. You need to know, like, the life you want to live for real. Like, I know I'm a life coach and I know I'd be saying that, but it was still some parts and aspects that I didn't even have like a vision for that. And when there is no vision, like, that's scripture, right? But when you don't know what you want, you'll go for anything. And that's dangerous. Whether you're talking about romance, whether you're talking about your career, whatever it is, you need to know what you want. And so I'm the type of person where it's like, I might not know what I want, but I know what I don't want. And I knew, like, no, I don't know job where I have to, in order to come up and be promoted and stuff, I gotta be away from my newborn baby. I'm the mother. I gotta be away for 6 months. Absolutely not. Like, I knew that. And my own childhood issues and traumas, and baby, I've been having therapy at the house, right, lately. And just me and God, sometimes my mama. But you have to know those things about you. And I'm understanding, like, I'm always gonna have triggers and stuff that I consider trauma, but I have to understand and figure out how to build a life that doesn't leave me in a state to where all those things are always triggered and brought up. Like, that's how I knew I wasn't gonna marry no man in the military, because, like, I grew up like that. My daddy was never at the house. I love saying that, right? But I never wanted to put my kids through that. And so I was struggling with that in that relationship, in that season, because it was always something like, oh, go do this for 6 months. Oh, go here. We need you to go here. And it was putting a strain on that relationship, but it was also putting a strain on just, like, me. Like, I can't have no job where I come in on Monday and y'all are like, I need you to go here on Thursday. I don't want to go there on Thursday. Like, how y'all know I don't want to sit at the house and do what I want to do? So that was really hard for me. That's why I was ready to quit the job. And then COVID happened and we could telework. So I've been teleworking for the last 5 years. I love telework. Like, I've been working for 10 years. I just got my 10-year certificate at work in April, maybe August. Like they gave it to me kind of delayed, but it was this year. And everybody at work was like, "You're not old enough to have been working for 10 years and all this." I was like, "I actually am." Like, and I was talking to God about that this morning. I was like, "God, I've been going hard. Like, I had 2 weeks off after graduation from college, and I've been working as a full-time adult them whole 10 years. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but it was like, God, I never want to work this hard. Not me. Not it's not that I don't like to work. I just never want to work like this. Like knowing it's been like this for 10 years. I'm like, what the next 10 years gonna look like? What's 5 or 10 after that gonna look like? Like, I don't like that. But anyways, I just celebrated 10 years. And I was saying that because my first 5 years, I did go in the office every day 7 to 4:30, but that's like my whole entire day. And that was making me very depressed. Like I told my mom that this morning. I was like, going to work makes me depressed. And so telework helped. And I was able to do the stuff that was on my heart to do. I was able to do stuff God wanted me to do. I was able to, like, it really felt like I was working for God during those 5 years. Now, it also started to bring in a different level of warfare at work, though, because one of my dreams, the lady that ended up getting fired earlier in the year, and she tried to get me fired multiple times, she was like, Megan's been working for the Lord. And so it was like something in her just was like attack her once I was able to start walking in my purpose, right? So I was having that warfare at work. Last year, we all know it was a lot of warfare at work for me. But I did that the first 5 years. It felt like they had all my time, my whole life, and it wasn't for me. COVID happens and I'm able to telework. I write a book. I start my YouTube channel. I get certified. I start multiple businesses. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm able to do all that because the flexibility is now in my life where I can do work, but work is not like my whole life. I don't have to actually sit in another building for 9 hours. I don't have to be in a car for an additional hour and a half because of traffic going and coming back. Like I don't like that. And so work was stressing me out. They were treating me horribly. And we all know I decided to leave that job. Okay. That was very hard for me. And one thing I've been really big on in my own reflection lately is just like, I feel like the best stuff is on the other side of the hard decisions. That was a hard decision. And I know the type of person I am. You have to do a whole lot for me to let go and walk away, no matter what it is. It can be a family relationship, it can be a romantic relationship, it can be a friendship, it could apparently even be a job. Like, I'm not going to just be like, you know what? I don't like this and leave. And that has been a problem my whole life because, in all regards, it should have been enough courage in me and enough clarity in me and enough boldness in me to be like, I don't like this and leave instead of waiting to be treated so badly. It's like I don't have no choice but to leave. And that's what happened at this job. And so I made the decision to leave and I had some relief finally. But then I was planning Morgan's wedding and all this stuff. I was telling them all this on Snapchat. Like, I haven't had a second to process anything that has transpired for real the last probably like year. I haven't had a chance to process that. Like I was trying to be there for Morgan, plan all this extravagant stuff for Morgan. I was the best maid of honor, period. Trips, making sure I did everything she needed for her wedding, all this stuff. And in the midst of that, preparing to start another job. And so the week before Morgan's wedding, I started a brand new job, whole new people. And not only did I start a new job, because of the new administration, I had to go in the office every day. I have not been doing that for 5 years. And so everybody is telling me, like, Megan, it should be easy. You were doing this the first 5 years of work. You know what it's like to go in. I'm like, but I hated that. I was ready to quit. Like, and then COVID happened. Like, I hated that. And so I had to start going in every day. And I got sick. And I was talking more about this on Instagram. I got sick. I was going to the doctor. I had all this stuff going on. I think all the stress from last year was catching up to my body. It was literally insane. It was like once the wedding slowed down and once I kind of got in a new routine at the new job, my body was like, oh, okay, now. And all the stress like piled on to me. That's what it felt like. Because last year was so like flight or fight. This year it's crazy. This year has been so different than last year. Last year was just like, what is this guy? And then it was like, okay, now I see why I went through all of this. But then in the resting, in the stillness of getting to better places, nobody talk about how that will mess you up. Like not even mess you up, but how like your body will finally release all that stress. And not only that, but when you start getting treated better, no matter what the regard is, that can trigger you. Now, I made words about that. So I'm saying, like, nobody talk about it. We don't talk about it enough because my boss treated me good. What had me at a job, like, most of the time I would walk out of this new job crying because I'm like, this is so opposite of how they treated me at this other job the last years. Like, once I started getting more recognition and opportunities at that job, that's when some people just went out their way to just try to hurt me really, really bad. And when you think about it, I think that's what happens in life. Like, God started blessing you, bossing you up. That's when your family turn up. That's when your friends, all of a sudden, they seem fake. Like, that's part of it. Like, God brings you up, just like what's happening at that job. That military boss man was like, this is my girl. This is my superstar. Like, that's how he was doing me. And folks lost it. Like, I was like, y'all never used to treat me like this. Like, what is wrong with you? I start growing up. I wasn't the baby anymore. So now it's like I'm threatening all these women in there, and I'm not even trying to, and they're going out their way to make my life hard. So that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like in my family relationships, though, over the years. That's what it felt like in my friendships. Like, it was like everything was cool until it wasn't. Drake, what did I miss? Yeah, whenever that came out, that's exactly how I felt when that came out this year. But yeah, so it's taking a toll on my body. I was getting sick. I was experiencing symptoms I ain't never experienced before, which also goes to show, like, yeah, we do get older. We have to be more intentional about our diet, vitamins, supplements, and all that. But it was like my body was literally like folding under the stress from last year. And so this year has felt more so like just aligning everything to match the blessings that the Lord was trying to give me. Leaving very toxic relationships makes me sick. I told y'all, like, usually if I stop fooling with somebody and I know they're narcissistic, I get bad migraines. Or once I start to realize what's going on, I get bad migraines. I get sick, like how I've been the last couple of weeks. Like, when first got sick, I was like, something's up. I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, something's up, because I do not get sick like this. And the fact that I get sick, but not, I'm like, when I get sick like this, is for a reason. And the fact that it's still lingering, I'm like, this is nothing but the devil trying to intimidate me. And I saw a lot of words confirming that. I have not been on my, like, this channel. If I'm on YouTube on this channel, only thing that's gonna pop up is prophetic words. But I haven't been on, like, my YouTube isn't even signed in on this channel. My YouTube is signed in on my other channel. Those videos are entirely different. Like, it is nothing like the prophetic words. I haven't been watching none of those. I told y'all a long time ago, I like life way better when I don't watch prophetic words. That's just me. But I follow certain people on Instagram and Facebook to where it's like I always see their stuff on time. So Lena something, the one that writes her prophetic words out, and she usually posting like in the middle of the night. She had made this post about intimidation. And I was like, I just told my mama this because how my sinuses is acting. I was like, what? Why did that won't leave me alone? Like, what is wrong with him? And I'm like, God trying to bless me, mom. And then Dr. Jolene, it was so crazy. She posted one of her prayers, because sometimes hers be in the middle of the night too. Mind you, I have not actually been watching her broadcast or anything like that. I catch random posts on Instagram. She was talking about how the inflammation is going away. And that was something I was specifically praying about, because ever since I was a child, that's what happens. Like asthma, chronic inflammation, eczema, chronic inflammation, ulcers, inflammation. Like all the stuff that be wrong with me is inflammation. And I had told y'all I was praying specifically against those things and autoimmune responses last year, because there is a correlation between the inflammation and autoimmune. And I had prayed that specifically last year, thinking like it was going to be like a one-time thing and I was going to be healed. But it was like, no, God was showing me like my part that I had to do in it. And so I had to kind of reinforce a lot of that this year so I wouldn't have certain issues. But Dr. Jolene had posted like the inflammation. She was saying that like specifically, like, I don't know who needed this part. And I was like, it was me, because me and God was just talking about how inflamed I be. And that is nothing but stress. And I've been like that since a child. Like when my eczema came on, I was 5. And when my asthma flared up and like noticeably, I was 8. And when my ulcers were noticeable, it was in college. It was like my last 2 years. And the first time I ever broke out in hives because of stress was my sophomore year of college. All those things are inflammation and stuff, like all of those things. And I was a big hive all last year. Like I was just a big hive last year. I must say, I have not had the hives as bad this year. I'm like, see, I was way too stressed out. But anyways, it's been like that since I was a child. And so a lot of people, a lot of my friends, I talk to them, male or female, and I'll be like, so when did your stuff stop? And it's like, oh, I just outgrew it. I just outgrew it. I'm realizing it's not so much as like you just get older and your body just, you don't, people start creating boundaries. People start aligning their lives with like their interests and their wants. And for me, I never felt like I had permission to do that. It's a lot of people, and it's all rooted first in family. It's a lot of people. If had I had the choice or felt like I had the choice, I wouldn't have came around them, and I was only around them because they were family. But it was a lot of family. I stayed sick when I was little. When I got older and God started showing me my gifts, I remember the first time I had went back around one of the sides of my family the first time in a long time. And when I had got from around them, I was congested. I was like, wait a minute. Like, I've been fine. You're telling me when I get around them, all of a sudden I can't hear. Like, it was like I was having the physical manifestation of things that was like, it was really congesting me in the spirit, though. Like, being around y'all really messed with my sinuses. Like, y'all intimidate me in the spirit, but you don't see that. I didn't know, like, oh, y'all are gang stalking me. I didn't know it was stuff attached to them and it was doing that to me. I did not know that until I got much older. And so people be saying, like, oh, I outgrew it. They didn't really outgrow it. They just started setting boundaries and living in a way where they wasn't around folks who wasn't good for them. Stress can kill you. And so it's the same people telling me, like, stress can kill you, but it's like, but you also making me be around these people who are possessed with these things, and those things are trying to kill me. And so I had to just decide to start living for myself. I can't tell y'all what month that was. Um, a lot of stuff happened in July. That's why I'm like, oh, okay, that's crazy that the last time I went live was in July, but a lot of stuff happened in July. And ever since then, everything has just been different. I can't explain it fully, but it's like, no, I'm not gonna be around you. I'm not gonna talk to you. I was always sick when I was little, y'all. They was always bullying me when I was little. I was always sick. My parents, what's wrong? Why is Megan always sick? That's why everybody's taking everything out on me. I was always sick. um, After Morgan's wedding, I got sick, but I knew going into the wedding, I wouldn't be talking to a lot of my family afterwards. I knew that at the wedding. I knew that. And the wedding confirmed it. Because I had fasted all of January. Like, everybody, people be forgetting that. I fasted all of January. Now my sister, my big sister in Christ, she didn't forget. Me and her was talking about that the other day. She was like, didn't you fast like all January? I was like, I did. And all that stuff God was showing me, it was so that I would make better decisions for the rest of the year. All the snakes he was showing me, all that. That dream is part of why I knew I wasn't talking to nobody after the wedding. But after the actual wedding, I was like, no, like, I'm really not doing this anymore. And so I've felt better. I've had more peace. I've had clarity. Like, this congestion, this is not from family. This is from me remembering what I'm supposed to be doing and the devil trying to keep me from doing it. That's what this intimidation is. But I've felt better. I've had more clarity. I've definitely had more peace. But also, nobody talks about how weird of a transition that is. Nobody talks about how anxious you can get when things really are different. And so now things really are calm, and you may mistake calm for boring because you're so used to chaos. Send me a boring man. Send me a very boring man. And I don't be boring, like really boring, like the episode of SpongeBob and he's like, hi, how are you? Not that type of boring, but like calm, peaceful. And that doesn't necessarily mean he ain't went through nothing. What that means is he's healed, not 100%, because that's what I was trying to say earlier. I'm realizing, like, it's really not going to be 100%. It's moments and times where I'm like triggered still, and I'm like, and I don't be caught up in it as much or as long as I used to before. But I've learned different things, and I'm going to keep learning different things, and I'm going to keep healing. And I do believe when I have children or in relationship, all that, like, I'm going to keep healing. It's going to help me heal from those things. But when I say send me a boring man, I really do mean like calm, and he healed, and he like mature. Like, all the stuff that I want to be, like, he's like that, and he helps me be that, and I help him be those things too. Like, send me boring. But this last months, it's been really hard because it's like, I'm bored. I'm not bored. I just ain't got nobody talking to me crazy, disrespecting me, making me feel bad about myself. But because it's been like that my whole life, it's like, okay, well, I don't even know what to do. So to be really honest with y'all, I think I've been trying to enjoy that as well. Like, y'all also know being on YouTube, folks be talking to you crazy. I'm not in the mood for that. I have not been in the mood for any of that. I have been minding my business. Look at my skin. Do y'all see my skin? Look at my skin. That's crazy. Right? Like, I've been focusing on me and trying to make sure my health is good and giving my body time to, like, I can still tell a lot of my stuff was inflamed. Did you know that when your stomach is inflamed, that messes with your feminine health? So now you stressing me out so bad, my ulcers is flared up, and now you playing because one day I do want to be able to have kids. You get what I'm saying? Like, so many things, and it's like it's not worth it, and it's also not worth being angry either, because I went through a posting phase where I was angry, I was sad, I was hurt, all those things. You got to give yourself time to process those emotions. And a lot of people around me, they 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 don't want me to talk about like how they treat me, what they put me through. And I think that's so funny, because if that was the case, then you need to make sure you're inspiring my content on the right side. You're choosing to be the villain. And if that's what I want to talk about this week, that's what I'm going to talk about this week, because I'm still learning lessons in that. But I had to give myself time to process those emotions. Now, leading up to the shutdown, because that's what started this whole conversation, I was at work and I was having a really hard time because I'm used to telework. So y'all know it wasn't a thing to like, God is telling me this, record a video at the desk, upload it, whether it was love or a prophetic word. It wasn't a thing to go live during my lunch break because I was teleworking. God still talks to me at the same frequency, whether I am sharing or not. So I'm at work and he's talking to me and I'm getting overwhelmed, and I sit in, not only, we moved buildings too. Like, life has been, I feel like he threw my life up in the air. Last year kind of felt like rock bottom, but it was so like hopeless. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I don't even want to say rock bottom because I had more faith to like handle that rock bottom. Like, I feel like a rock bottom was probably in like 2019. But last year was so like, man, I don't even know what's going on. This year is a different type of I don't know what's going on. It's positive, but it's like I don't feel like I'm in control at all. Like, I feel like he really just threw my life up in the air. Like, every time I thought I had some footing or something stable this year, he was like, no, no, and no. So he's he's teaching me how to trust him differently than I ever have, while also giving me like rest and like be still. And I know that's another reason I sometimes get sick. Like, he'll let the devil do that because I listen differently when I'm sick and I'm sitting down. But I was having a hard time at work. He was telling me a lot of stuff. Like, when I wrote one of these notes I wanted to share with y'all. Hey, Savannah girl, I missed you. When I wrote these notes, I didn't date it, but I was like at my desk, like crying. And I can't be at work like that. Like, we sit in cubicles where I can see what he's doing. She can see what I'm doing. And the person on the other side of me, the other building, it wasn't even that close. Like, it was close, but it wasn't like you can see me and we're close. This building is, they can see me and they're close. That's why I don't do those morning little notes. And I can't do that. They're going to see me recording. Like, I cannot do that. So I was having a hard time at work. And this one week in particular, because I was being treated so well romantically. And this isn't like a romantically and like, oh, I'm finna run off and get married to him, but just like genuinely letting somebody who I know has romantic interest in me treat me right. It was triggering me really, really bad. And y'all probably are going to want me to rewind and talk about how I even got there. But it was triggering me really, really bad. And I was in the car crying. And I ended up having to call my daddy, and I was boohoo hysterical. And I was like, why did I let men treat me so bad all these years? Like, it was bad. This is literally like this. How long I haven't been working? The government been shut down for, this is my third Monday. Is it today Monday? This is my third Monday not going to work. So the government has been shut down for over 2 weeks. So this is probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm calling my dad. He's at his job. He's like, Megan, where are you? Because I'm like distraught. And I'm like, I'm in the parking lot at work. But so many emotions and things were coming up. And I was crying like that whole week. Like, one of my friends saw me in the car crying. Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. That's what I had put on Snapchat. And I had told them, I was like, if it take me 2 months crying every day to get all this out of my system, that is what I'm going to do. Like, that is what I'm going to do. And it's hard. Y'all know I cry a lot. It's hard being at work I can't cry. I gotta go to the car and do it. Like that's very uncomfortable. If I was teleworking, I could literally put them on mute, act like I was listening, and I wasn't, and I could go to the other side of my house and cry in my bedroom. I could do that. I cannot do that at work. I don't like going to the bathroom trying to cry. And I'm also very like, my name is really hot at work. Somebody is always looking for me. It's like, it's one thing to be sitting at my desk and my Teams is always going off. I can ignore that. I cannot ignore somebody coming to my desk. They need to talk to me about something we're working on. I can't do that. So work has been overwhelming to me in that sense, because it's like, I don't even know how I was living before. Like when we was going in every day, I don't even know how I was doing that. Like I talked to God all day, every day. He pressed up on my heart all the time. And if I get hit with a wave of emotions, I'm not the type to just sit here and hold it in because that makes me sick. So I was telling them I needed to process it. I was listing out all the sexual harassment at work, regular harassment at work. This is all last year, 2 open cases. I ain't processed none of that. My sister was getting married and I switched jobs. I have not processed any of that. The night I made the Snapchat post, I dreamt my ex was beating me up. Y'all don't know what I went through last year. Like I was like, this is a lie. But let me say my ex situationship. He was beating the mess out of me, right? One of my friends passed away this year. I don't even think I talked to y'all about that. Domestic violence, ran over with a car. This isn't the first friend that's happened to. Like, I have not processed so many emotions. Cutting off my family, like it's cute in theory. It's not even really cute in theory because I don't think anybody wants to do that. But you can understand it kind of in theory. But the way I really cut them off, you gotta grieve that. Like I'm like, yeah, I didn't process any of these emotions, guys. I just kept going. I was getting my hair done, showed up for the wedding, got a new job, and then those 6 months, because my job wasn't even secure until Labor Day. That's what's crazy. And I don't even trust security anymore because my government job is supposed to be secure and it's not. I'm not even working right now. Like, that's not secure. So it was just a lot going on. Those 6 months, my mom was like, you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on this. You need to do this. But in those 6 months, and it actually finally being quieted, it was all that stuff. I'm trying to process all this stuff that just happened since in 2024 alone. Right now, some of the stuff in 2024 triggered stuff from my childhood, but I'm trying to process stuff from 2024 alone. Like, why is this man being so rough and aggressive with you? I don't know, but it's making me think about that time in 6th grade when that boy was low-key beating me up because he liked me. Like, this stuff has been going on my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So, and I didn't therapy, baby, we only talked about the sexual abuse. I had maybe 5 sessions, and she was like, you have PTSD. Baby, we didn't even scratch the surface. We have not even scratched the surface, ma'am. Like, so even when I was going to therapy that year, it kind of helped, but not for real. I'm not in therapy anymore. I asked my mom the other day because I knew I was very triggered or that week, because my parents have been doing really, really good with me lately. And I thank God for that. But I had asked her, I called her, I was like crying. I was on the phone crying with them like every day. It was bad. And I was like, do you think I need to go back to therapy? And she was like, no, you do not need to go back to therapy, Megan. Like, you know how to hear from God. She was like, and it's not a knock to therapists or counselors or anything like that, because I really do think they're important, especially for people who cannot, like, you know, people who post like, I wish God could come sit in my room right now and talk to me. I don't ever feel like that. I feel like he's talking to me. I feel like he's sitting in my room talking to me. But for people who don't easily feel his presence or are as sensitive to his presence, I do believe counselors and therapists and stuff are really good in that way. Because when you think about therapy, that is a way to get your feelings out and talk about things. No judgment. At least you're supposed to feel like it's no judgment. Sometimes with God, it can still feel like that. And I've told y'all that before. Like, why would I think this man or whoever is going to be so able to just come talk to me about things he probably ain't even talked to God about? And the only reason I know about them is because God is telling me. Same thing for me. I'm not going to open up and talk to nobody about nothing, and I ain't even talk to God about it. I'm the type of person, I can lay in my bed, stare at the ceiling, turn everything off. I will know when God wants to talk to me because I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to listen to music. Everything just seems very uninteresting to me. And I can lay in my bed in the same way I ask clients questions in my coaching calls. That's what me and God are doing. That's what the Holy Spirit is doing. What's bothering you? What's on your mind? Just like in therapy, the first thing they ask you is what brought you here. Most people start crying right there because you know it's some stuff you need to get off your chest. I do that with God. What's bothering you? I start talking. Next thing you know, I'm crying, and he is comforting me. He is counseling me. Counselor, like that's who he is first. So I ain't go back to therapy. I said I didn't tell you I did not go back to therapy. I think I've been doing just fine, not in therapy, but you have to be very intentional about. That's something else I'm learning. Healing is always going to be constant, but you have to be intentional about that process in your life. You have to take time for yourself. You have to take time to be still so you can process emotions. I said, it don't make no sense to be crying like this all the time, guys. I was like, am I depressed? Am I depressed? He's like, no, you're not depressed. But I didn't cry over everything happening last year because I had to keep going, keep going, keep going. And so what I'm also realizing is for men, it is very different. It's the same way I'm like, I just can't be up in here crying like God. And I'm a woman and I'm a sensitive woman and everybody knows that. Where does a man go when he needs to do this? And especially a hardworking man at that. And so I'm understanding like the importance of truly being a man's peace. And I'm not saying like he got to be able to come cry in my arms because 9 times out of 10, that's not about to happen. It's depending on where you are in dating and all that. 9 times out of 10, that's not gonna happen. You talking about a man who was never able to eat or even able to do that with his mama? You get what I'm saying? Where is he about to go cry to? So it's different for men, and so it's crazy. I'm learning all these things. I'm able to put some of them into practice. The man at work was telling me he's a real manly man. He used to be special ops, and so like they real cool. I like this new job. And, he was telling me like when I'm having a hard time, the only thing I want from my wife is to be peace for me. Like, leave me in peace. He was like, I'm not even saying like, I just need her to give me time so that I can regroup. And that men and women alike, you have to be intentional about giving yourself that time. But for me, it was like, if I couldn't acknowledge I went through all that stuff last year, I was never going to give myself time to process it. And so because everything had slowed down and I had cut everybody off, whether we had a conversation or not, now all I really am doing is going to work. When I come home from work, I'm not doing YouTube. I'm not doing any extracurriculars. I don't have anything but downtime. And so now all this stuff is trying to come up to the surface. And it's God is not doing it to make you depressed or make you anxious or to make you feel like you stuck. He's doing it so it can come up and he can wipe it away. Like whatever, is that how refining impurities works with whatever, some type of, is it gold? I don't know, whatever. But he lets I'm talking too much. He lets that process happen. And I think you can be distracted by the triggering and the stuff that's brought up to the surface. I feel like I could easily say that's what's been happening the last few years. Like, it's like I was trying to bring this up to help you get over it, move it out the way, get it up off of you. But every time I would bring it up, every time I'd allow it to come to the surface, you would let it distract you. You would let it make you run off. And so I haven't really had that option in this season. God is making it so clear to me, like he wants me to himself. And at first it was kind of making me mad because it was like, have I not been with you like long enough? Why do you always want me to yourself? Are you always going to want me to yourself? But it's because I'm learning so many things, like, and processing so many things. So now it's like, I'm not going to talk about other stuff and cry. I didn't sit up here and cry all these weeks, but I did say if it took 2 months, it would take 2 months. So I was telling y'all that because I prayed for time. Like I was like, God, I can't do this. I need a break. Like that was me in the car. I need a break. This is like 4 weeks ago. I ended up taking off some days because I just wasn't feeling it. I've been taking off a lot of days since I started this job. Like the first month or two, I didn't take off that much, but then anxiety was kind of overwhelming me. My health was bad. My doctor, literally my last doctor's note, he was like, you need to go to sleep and you need to stop stressing. He's like, you need rest. I was like, I ain't never had no doctor's note that said rest. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. So I took off here and there these last 6 months, but after all that crying in the car, I started taking off more. And so the last week that we were at work, like we didn't go to work after that Tuesday, I think. Like we went in a Monday and a Tuesday and the government been shut down. Whenever August the 1st was. I ain't been to work since the beginning of August. The Monday of that week, my boss came over to my desk and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, just thugging. He was like, you've been taking off a lot. I'm not trying to be in your business, but like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm actually not okay at all, sir. And he was like, is it us? Because at first I didn't tell him why I had to switch jobs. A lot of people did not know why I had to switch jobs. It wasn't yeah, I decided to, but I actually had to. They won't let you stay in an environment where you're being harassed like that. And so I didn't tell him at first. He was very confused about like how I came over, why they had took me completely out of the other people's system, all this, and I didn't tell him. And I was really jumpy whenever he would like come talk to me. I think I had told y'all that in the video. Like I was like, oh, I got PTSD. Like I knew that early on switching jobs. Like I was like, this is not okay. And it took me time. Like he was consistently showing me like he was safe. Like that office was safe. The people were safe. He had my back. Like he was consistently showing me that. And the 2 times I had family stuff going on, when I came to work, and he's very observant. He believes in God. When I came to work, he was like, are you okay? Is everything okay? And I was like, mm-hmm. And you know how you try to act like everything's fine? He was like, you don't really seem yourself. So I remember the first time I had told him, I was like, this usually happens after I'm around certain family members. And he was like, do you think that's normal? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, do you think it's normal to feel that drained and depressed after being around family? No, I don't think that's normal. And his wife, it's always so funny. People always tell me I remind them of their wife. I'm like, what does that mean? Or not me, but like what I'm going through. And so he was like, I think this is going to be a good season for you to learn boundaries. And I was like, that's crazy, because my other boss there, who is also my mentor, she was telling me that. She was like, Megan, I think it's time you learn boundaries. Like, because you should have had him at that last job. So then people would have known they couldn't do you like that. Like, they've been teaching me boundaries and allowing me like the opportunities to put them in place and stick up for myself and all that. So that happened like 2 times. And he was like, that's not normal. And then this last time when I told him I wasn't doing good, he was like, is it family? And I was like, it's actually not. Like, he was like, I'm so happy to hear that. I was like, right, because usually that's what it is. And he was like, it's not us though, is it? I was like, because when I say they look out for me, they fight for your girl, I love it there. I said, I think I'm overwhelmed. And he was like, overwhelmed like negatively? I was like, no, I think it's positive. But also something else I'm learning, if you genuinely care about somebody and you genuinely love somebody, what they're going through is going to weigh on you. He was like, absolutely. If my wife is having a hard time, now I'm having a hard time. And I was like, I didn't realize how that would be. And so like, I'm not stressed out, but if somebody I love is stressed out and going through stuff, it is affecting me. So I was overwhelmed by one of my people's situations. I was like, I don't even I'm trying, how do I be here for the, like I was overwhelmed by that, but I was also overwhelmed by the goodness of God. Like I said, like I'll be walking out the job most days crying because they're so nice to me. Like so nice to me. I can't get over it because everybody was so, not everybody, but it was so bad in the last few years of the other job. It was just kind of like, dang, I should have been left. Anyways, I just told him I was taking like mental health days. They encouraged that at this job, which I really appreciate. I was like, I'm fine. I just, um, you know, so went to work the next day, and I didn't even know that the shutdown stuff was going to happen. I wasn't even paying attention. And everybody was joking about it. We were having all these weird impromptu meetings. I was like, what are they talking about? And then everybody jokes like, everybody joked like, we'll see you next week. Like they just knew we was gonna be offered the rest of the week. Baby, we was offered the rest of the week and 2 more. And don't know when we get paid. Like, but because they're so good to me, every year my performance and stuff at work has been getting much better. And so I was rewarded heavily for that. And I'm like, oh God, your timing is perfect. Because had that not came through, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. And so the lady that I was talking to, she was like, do you have kids? I'm so sorry you're going through this, because government employees, we're not going to work unless you're important. I ain't that important. Like I'm important at work, but I ain't like, fate of the world important. Or fate of America important. Contractors are still working. So she was like, are you married? I was like, no. She was like, do you have kids? No. She was like, well, this shouldn't be as bad for you. And it's not. Because I know it's some people out here, they'll know they're getting paid and they do got kids. They do got more bills. You get what I'm saying? But it's also at the same time, but some folks straight because they husbands hold it down. Like they're fine. Some people like my mom, they're fine. Like it's me and my mom that's not going to work right now. She's fine. It's me that's like, no, I don't know what's going to happen in a couple of months if I don't go back to work, right? Like I'm going to be looking a little crazy. So I asked God for a break. I was saying that. I was praying that in the car. And I promise y'all, he gave me one. I told that, and I think I probably thought I needed 2 months because at the rate of release I have when I have to go into work every day, that would probably have took 2 months. But what I thought was gonna take 2 months, I feel like really took 2 weeks because now I'm like, oh, we good. Like I just needed 2 weeks of not having to go in the office, not feeling bad about it because you don't have to put in leave when we shut down. Like I don't have a job to go to right now. Like I have a job, but I don't have a job to go to. They're not paying me for that. So I needed them 2 weeks. I've cried literally every day these 2 weeks. I'm low key kind of doing the dang fast, kind of not. It's kind of like what I did in January, but a little different, which also makes me more sensitive, which is probably why I've been able to hear God like super clear. And it's just what I needed. And so I know that was a lot. I feel like we did a whole lot of catching up, but that's what happened when I don't make a video for 10 weeks. But that's kind of how we got here. So these notes, if y'all want, I can go over them. One is about relationships. That's why I was like, y'all probably want me to rewind and talk about how we got here. Like, what do you mean you were being treated right romantically? I know, right? We can talk about that. That was the one that had me at this like, and then the one I kind of jotted down today, which is way more like it's just different people. Took my time, had time. Did not take my time. It was horrendous. But we can talk about those if you want to. I know Kiki is still in here. Savannah, you've been crying a lot too, my girl. Dreams of people trying to assassinate me. So I've been having dreams like that since I was little. That's what I was telling him. And he was like, I think you need to stop watching that stuff. Now, I haven't watched an episode of Charmed in probably 2 weeks. And I don't recall if somebody was trying to kill me the last 2 weeks. But that's been happening since I was a little girl. Remember that one dream I told y'all they was throwing chainsaws at me? Why am I dreaming this? I ain't even watched Chainsaw Massacre, nothing like that. So why am I dreaming somebody trying to kill me with chainsaw? That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, last night I dreamt somebody was trying to get kidnapped, but I haven't dreamt somebody's actually trying to kill me. But I also know I'm moving forward because now all of a sudden I'm dreaming about the family members that I cut off. I'm like, see, this is what I don't have time for. I don't want to see y'all in my sleep. I don't want to see you, period. Like, so it's a lot. I feel like we got to let God have his way in us. And I've been praying stuff that's been throwing me off so bad. Like, why would I say that? Like, like some songs you don't want to listen to because you're like, no, I already know this is going to get me. But sometimes lately when I'm praying, I'm like, why did I say that? Oh gosh, wait. Like before you actually do that. But my spirit know what we need to be doing. It's my flesh that be against it. So we got to let God have his way in us. And I will also say this, those words, even though I hid my Kingdom Marriage words, I don't think God lied to me. He does not lie. Now, one thing I'm learning, and I told my mom, we really shouldn't be worried about the outcome. I understand why people say that now because I feel like ever since way back when, and some people will tell you this was very unhealthy of me to do, I attached so many things to this man. And so if he's not in my life, whether it's for a season or forever not supposed to be in my life, some of those things go with him. And that's not good. I don't know what I titled this entirely. Like, was it just choose yourself? Up here on these notes, I put choose yourself, do it for yourself. I'm having to come to a wholeness within me that I've never experienced. And I feel like I am falling in love with myself. I feel like myself is coming together in this hour. But I remember like 2 years ago making videos about that, about Kingdom Marriage. Like you have to become one with yourself first. Your husband has to become one with himself, and then God can bring all together. I know I made a video saying that. So for me, it's like, nah, like I don't think God lied. I just feel like when he was talking to me, I was so hyper fixated on attaching those words to another person or on a specific person. And even when I was younger, I was so adamant about like, I can't have this, I can't experience this, I can't do this without that person. But that will leave you like you're not doing what you need to do. Like I know I made a video about wait for you, but then at the same time, God was like, but don't wait for them. And I was like, well, no, that don't make sense. How does that work? Right. But you have to still live your life and you have to keep pursuing that oneness within. And my last, besides homie like being super aggressive with me, the one that I was saying I tripped that beat me up. It's not funny. I cried about it the other day. I can laugh about it right now. But besides him, my other three dating experiences the last I would say a year. Like I had started dating this man last year when all this stuff was going on, and I shouldn't have did that. But also I think I should have did that, right? This is why I'm telling y'all this. Those last three experiences were like, this is how I should be treated. Even though I knew like, but I don't think you're the one that's gonna be treating me like this forever. And that's why now I have to be careful because the good men, like real men who got money, they are going to spend it on you. And I do not like taking a man's money. That's something we should really talk about. I am not like these birds on the internet. I read stuff and I'm like, okay, so I see why some of y'all really do think we just after your money. I'm not after your money, right? And it makes me feel bad when a man and we don't have no type of like longevity, future. It made me feel bad when he's spending a lot of money on me, even if he wants to, because real men do that. It just makes me feel bad. I don't like that. But my last three experiences, it wasn't just the money. Like me and God really been having some real conversations. Like that's what I'm saying. You gotta know what you want. I first and foremost, also, side note, I would not post too much on the internet about what you want. I was already thinking that because them reposts on Instagram about to get me got, right? But my dad, all this stuff has been going on lately. And he was like, stop sharing what you want on the internet for a man pop up pretending to be all those things. I'm like, Dad, they already do that. They literally already do that. Because one of those dating experiences last year, I felt like that's what he was doing. I'm like, you've been watching me. Like, I can just tell. I'm like, you've been watching me. And so you're presenting yourself in a way that's so like everything I would want, but I just did not have peace about it. And sure, I wasn't for him. I knew that. I knew that. I need to wipe this off my mouth, though. I knew that. But I wouldn't. I wonder if I can use this on my mouth. It's a hand wipe, but it's hypoallergenic. I wouldn't do that because you never know who really is like plotting on you. Is this look as bad as it does looking? I couldn't tell. That's horrible. I would not do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't judge me, y'all. This is crazy. My last few experiences though have been real like I talk too much. I was thinking that the other day. Why do I get caught out so bad? Because I talk too much. Okay, so they've been really good in the sense of like, okay, this is how I should be treated. And a lot of men, even when they care about you, they're gonna tell you really good stuff. They're gonna give you good dating advice. And so I remember the one that was like way older. He was telling me like, no, like a man should be proven he worthy of your time. And him saying that was so like foreign to me. I was like, proving he worthy of my time. Like what? Like, cause I'm so used to my stance in relationships and stuff. And I think my doctor prayed that off of me in July because I've been really different ever since then. But he was telling me that and he was like this and all this. And he was like, he should be doing that without trying to sleep with you. And I was like, word? Like, you're kidding me, right? Um, because he's really trying to prove himself and you are, you know, you're choosing. Okay, so now I can't even say the last three. Two of the last three, because the other one he was doing all the right stuff, but it wasn't genuine. So you have to know that too. He was just trying to present himself as like we're so perfect, but I was like, we so perfect. Why I don't have peace? That's what I kept thinking. And so I kind of sabotaged that. I told him he wasn't my husband. I told him I knew who my husband was, even though at that time I really was struggling with believing that. But I just told him I knew who it was, and that kind of solved that problem. Because I didn't have peace about it. I do weird stuff and I don't have peace. And then the next dating experience this year, he was basically telling me the same stuff. And I was like, who sent you? Who sent y'all? Now it's been boys, men trying to holler at me, and sometimes I'll entertain it, but I can't. I told y'all I have never liked dating. So you have to really, if I went out on a date with you, you had to have been like really genuine with me, really kind to me, or like in the same arena as me, whether it was work or some of the business stuff too. I met some cool, men, and it was like, nah, I mean, let's see what you're talking about, But this last one was telling me that too. And so I feel like he kind of reactivated Princess Meg. And so whether or not the person I thought was my husband, whatever happens with that, I had to establish these standards for me. I had to choose myself regardless of that. I need to be doing these things because that's between me and God, and not because it was attached to this other stuff, if that makes sense. But I was watching this video and this girl was saying like we have to have experiences that overpower the negative ones. So if I had these experiences with these men and they stole from me, I was always paying for anything, everything that we did. Yeah, I do need to have some experiences with men where it's not that. These are men who gift me stuff. These are men who wouldn't think twice about harming me, but also they don't mistreat me, and they take care of me and they treat me like a princess. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that was just reactivated in me again. The other thing I was gonna tell y'all was, which I think is working too, because now it's like I can never go back to being treated less than this. Like I like this right here. Oh, because it can easily sound like it's money. It's not. So know what you want, because I know what I want. I've been sitting down. My list now is way different than my list that I made in college when that list was so like shallow. Like he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do this. It had no like depth behind it. Like no, it was just rules and not like who he is as a person, his character, his nature, right? And that's where I'm at right now. Like I want to be spoiled genuinely and naturally by him with the things that are free. So like I would never have to ask him that, because I'm at a point in my life where it's like if I ask you, I feel like I'm begging you. And begging you is just crazy, right? And also if you know he'll spoil you with those things in those ways, if he's the type that's gonna get a lot of money, have a lot of money, and he's a gift giver. Because I genuinely date men who are like that. They're very generous. Because I'm very generous. Like that's usually what happens. He is going to spoil you in all the other ways, whether it is, taking you out to eat, buying you stuff, taking your trips, all that. That's never my main priority or my main focus. Those are also things that I can do for myself and been doing for myself. So I'm looking at other things now, and also like how healed are you for real? It's really not about like, oh, he went through such horrible stuff. He went through such tragic, traumatic stuff. We all have. Most of us, okay, I ain't gonna say we all have, because there's some people I'd be like, would you say traumatized? And they're like, mm-mm. I'm like, that's crazy, because I know I got CPTSD. Like, I know I got it. But it the type of man I like, even if he has gone through a whole bunch of crazy stuff, that's really just gonna make him an even better man now. Like, I'm not saying I'm looking for somebody that was traumatized. I'm just saying like he knows God well enough, and he's been intentional about his healing journey so much that you wouldn't even know he went through all that stuff. And I would like to say I'm that type of person. Like you really wouldn't know I went through all that. Whenever I started telling people stuff, they're like, you? No, you don't act like you meant right. But that's because I know God. And so that's what I'm looking for in a man. And it's not See, men be this so not sincere. Men will try to hit me up, approach me, and they see that I talk about God. They see that I love God. They see that I'm with the kids, and it's just like they immediately out the gate try to just prove to me they got like such this strong relationship with God. You don't have to do that. I'm gonna know, like, the fruit of your life is gonna speak for itself. The way you treat me is going to show me that you have that relationship with God. Like, you don't have to prove that to me. And I'm not judging because that's what's on these notes. So I guess we're gonna start right here. You don't have to chase what God sends, which is what I feel like broke off of me in July, because me, I don't even give a man room to pursue me that I like, that I really want. I make it way too easy for them if I like them and I want them, and I make it too easy. So that's the conversation me and my mom was saying. I don't even give a man room to do that. I don't. And so that's what I'm having to learn. That's not a very feminine trait at all, actually. That is a masculine trait. And I feel like I do that because I do be scared to lose people, but it's also a level of like I want to control it. And now that's some real stuff. Like me and God have been in therapy for real. Okay. So you don't have to chase it and you don't have to prove or convince. And I was gonna write a post about that because I was doing some community posts and I was saying like it's one thing if a man is like studying you because he's trying to destroy you. Like them are the men that's like studying you like so they can present themselves with this mask on and that's not really them. And then you marry them quickly and then a year later you realize that man was never what he appeared to be, right? He was studying you so that he could pull you, but not studying you so that he could love you correctly. That's what I learned. I was telling my mama, this man pay attention to everything that I do and say, and it's not, and it's to look out for me, to take care of me. Like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want. This is what I want right here. And I don't remember who I had this conversation with, if it was my friend or my other friend who I thought was my spouse. Everybody friends at this point. I don't remember who I had this conversation with, but I remember us saying like, "What have you ever had to do for me to love you?" Nothing. What have what have I ever had to do for you to love me? Nothing. Exactly. You just did. Like you just did. That like that's the end of it. And so that's what God is showing me. You don't have to prove you're worthy of being chosen. Like if that man really loves you, he's going to choose you. Now, hear me out. I'm learning a lot of things this season. He may have stuff going on, and that's when you have to have the maturity and the grace to be like, this is not the time for that. But if you're like me and you're always trying to force stuff to be the time, make stuff to be the time, chase them down so that they chase you, like, that don't work like that. You're not giving it that space. And now you're also kind of taking away his ability to like show up as the man. Like you're throwing off the dynamic, but also the timing isn't right now. And I am really realizing good men who really rock with God, they're not going to pursue you outside of God's time. They're not going to do it. And so to you, to us, it may feel like rejection. It may feel like, I don't even really want me like that. And that's not it. He ain't finna bring you into no mess. Now that may suck for you because for me, I feel like where I was at, it was like, no, I'm ready to experience this. I'm ready to do this. And then I mean, this man, he treat me so nice. He do all these things. Check, 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 check. And then bam, this stuff is happening with him. And it's like, this is not gonna happen for us. Okay, so now what, God? Like I not pursue, but I let somebody else pursue me. I entertain. That's the right word. I entertain something else. Do I wait? What do I do, God? And the line my mom always tells me is, I hope you figure that out. You figure out all that stuff you got going on because sometimes they do have a lot going on. And when you figure it out, I hope I'm still here. I've been on some type time like that lately. Like, you know where I'm at, and even with other people, and it's like, you know where I live. That's why some of the words I remember from years ago, like they just go pop up at your door. That makes me laugh, but at the same time, it's like, nah, like you do know where I stay though. You got the Addy. Stop playing with me. So my doctor prayed that. My mom thought she was praying. I need to tell her this when I talk to her later. She thought I was praying. My doctor. She thought the doctor prayed that I would let that man go entirely, and that's not what she prayed. She prayed that I would. It was really weird because I didn't tell her nothing. She prayed that God would position me correctly and prepare me and remind me that I did not have to chase anything that was mine. And I was like, now why would she say that? And ever since she prayed that prayer, chase what, man? I'm barely double texting these days, right? But I'm not doing that. I could never go out how I was going out in other relationships. I'm not doing that because, again, this man has reactivated the princess in me. I ain't gonna do all that. That man, when he want to talk, he gonna call you. If he want to talk, he gonna respond to them messages. Ignoring me? That's dead. Ignoring who? You're not gonna ignore me. Like we're not. I'm not gonna play these games with you. So I'm happy that's been reactivated in me. You don't have to prove nothing. I shared the Chris Brown word, proof. You ain't got nothing to prove. You don't have anything to prove. You don't gotta prove you love somebody. Like you ain't gotta overly express it. Cause I still struggle with the over explaining part. You don't have to do that. They're gonna know that. They're gonna feel that. And I also really like whenever I start doing too much or if I'm trying to be performative, that man like, stop doing that. Cause it puts you in a different energy. It really does. And I appreciate that as a friend. Like it puts you in a different energy and it will kind of force them to either be in a different energy with you or not deal with you entirely because of the energy that you are operating in. So I don't have to perform. I don't have to do nothing. I just exist. That's all you got to do. You don't have to convince them like, oh, you're such a good. No, like they're going to see that. God is going to show them that. This goes back to a pain point for more serious stuff. I put all we have to do is exist and be. And when we think about that, that is God. I am that I am. Like he just is. Period. That's all you have to do in life. You don't have to earn love. And so that was a conversation me and my mom was having as well. You feel that. Like what I'm saying, like when I'm getting performative or I'm trying to prove or convince and it's shut down, like, girl, don't be doing all that. You don't have to do all that. Because now it's kind of like I'm in a begging, desperate type of like, I gotta earn this love that you're giving me when really he giving it to you freely because he loves you simply by being. Just like God is the same way. He freely gives. He freely gives. We have to position ourselves to receive. That's that inward one coming together within. That's your mind, your heart posture, healing from stuff that make you feel like you're not worthy or deserving. All we have to do is position ourselves to receive from God who freely gives. It's going to be the same with that man. You got to position yourself. So what does that look like? You really are sitting like a queen, princess, whatever you want to call it. I've been on princess lately because I've been thinking about princess treatment, but you have to position yourself in that manner. You have to posture yourself in that manner. Your life needs to be that. And then that man will do literally everything else. Like, you don't even have to think. This man told me. That's why I was like, God, I don't know who is for me, but I like what I'm hearing, right? But I'm trying to think for you. Think for me. All these years, you got it. You can do it. I don't even want. You got it. You got it. Like that's how I'm. You got it. I love that energy, and I've never really had it outside of my dad. Now, with my dad comes other things, right? And it's a different dynamic because that's my dad, but I've never really had like, can you let me do this? Yeah, if you want to do it, I'm gonna let you do it, right? And that's coming out of fight or flight. Because, like I said, even some men they try to do stuff and they did stuff right, but it wasn't really like it wasn't sincere. So no matter how much I try to sit back and let you do it, it's like this isn't genuine. This is where is this taking me, right? Like so, there's that. But feeling like you have to earn love, I feel like that can be in a childhood thing. So that's what me and my mom was talking about. And we see it, right? Like I see, y'all wanna know a secret? Men really are sweethearts. And so when you're dealing with a really mean one, or he's just, for a lack of better term, like he's jacked up, it's something going on. It's something was going on with his mother. Something happened. I don't know what. But men really do love their moms. So it was really easy for me to make that content and realizing like that's why I kept attracting these dudes. Like they love that motherly nature in me, but if they were struggling with some stuff going on with their mama, that's what it is. I see that in kids to this day. And I you have to heal to a point where you realize like it's not me. Like if your mama or your daddy, because it doesn't have to be a man thing. I'm just saying I'm realizing a lot of these men really are sweethearts. They mamas just kind of jack them up. When your parent is so hurt that they cannot show up for you, because I don't know what that feels like. I got my own pains and my own experiences and my own, like I got my own stuff. But I don't know what it feels like for my parent to like not choose me. I don't know what that wound is in a like to that extent. And so when you growing up and you are always trying to, as a child, like I'm thinking of a particular child in this moment, you are always trying to do for your mom, prove to your mom like she should be around, she should choose you and your siblings, but she running behind after men. But I know that I understand that. I'm seeing that through the generations. She's doing that because her mom did that to her, so she don't know how to do that, be that for her kid. That's an example of breaking a curse. And you see that. You saw your mama didn't choose you for whatever reason. They was out in the streets. They was addicted to something, whatever it is, right? You have to break that curse and you gonna choose your kids regardless. So now I'm in a situation where, oh, thank God my daddy chose us, right? Because I don't want to know that pain, right? But because he did have that at that his level, how you going to expect him to have everything, Megan? Like, be grateful he chose y'all. He might not have been emotionally available, but he chose you guys, right? And he made sure y'all had an emotionally available mother. That's a big deal, right? And that's a curse breaking. But I've dealt with so many men, and it's like he was never going to be able to receive that from me. He's still one trying to chase behind his mama and get it, even as a grown man, right? Or he still feel like in every relationship he has to earn it. It has to be transactional. My mama only gave me attention if I did this, or I thought if I could do this and become this and do all this, then she would finally choose me. No, your mom is supposed to love you regardless. And I recognize everybody does not have that. That's not everybody's experience. Your mom is supposed to love you simply because that's your mama. Your mama is supposed to be there for you simply because that's your mama. That's it. Not because you're so well behaved, because you're so this, you're so no. And so we become adults and we wonder why am I so performative? Why do I feel like I gotta be a perfectionist? Because you also thought that if you were perfect, your parent wouldn't have been jacked up however they was jacked up. If you were perfect, your parent would have had better control over their emotions. So now we're talking about parents that's actually in the house. You weren't wondering where they was at. They weren't just off and running. You weren't wondering that. You talking about parents in the house now. If I was more perfect, then maybe they would have a better grip on their emotions. Actually, no, you could have been perfect and they still wouldn't have had a grip on their emotions. So it's all these things about our childhoods, no matter how it is. And I'm like, this is what my boss keep trying to tell me. Like, we all got issues, we all going through stuff, and we all trying to figure it out. But I know what it's like when I'm dealing with an adult and I see that little kid in them. I y'all know I deal with kids 24/7. I've been with kids for years. I see it. They don't feel good enough. They don't feel like they're easy to love. They don't understand why anybody would just love them simply for existing. My own mama, my own daddy didn't do that. Why would you do that? That's how that feels. And so they don't know what to do with somebody like me. Now, me personally, I see those posts and it's like people who were raised in love can't deal with people that was raised on survival. That's not true because I was in survival mode. Both my parents was in the house. So that's not true. It's really about what you do with the stuff that you went through and how intentional you are about unpacking all that stuff with God. And in some situations, people are very blessed to have people that's willing to unpack it with them. And in certain phases of my life, like right now, whoever I'm dealing with right now, I'm right here for them. We can unpack all of it. You're gonna listen to me talk about my stuff, but I'm gonna expect you to give me that reciprocity. And that's a word God been highlighting to me as well, getting it back. You're not going to regret pouring into anybody when they pour that back into you. You're not going to regret it because it is like you're doing something that also refreshes you. I'm giving where I'm getting back. You started to regret it when you pour into somewhere and they ignoring you and they don't talk to you and they're neglecting you. But what is a man who's neglected by his mother? What is he going to do with you? And he ain't really locked in with God like that. What are you really expecting him to do with you? And it's not to make excuses, because me and my dad had that conversation. Don't make excuses for another man, Megan. I said, yes, sir. But it's one of those things where like you should have peace about it. Like, yeah, I loved you. Yeah, I see the good in everybody. I see potential in everybody. Yeah, that is what it was, but I'm recognizing like it wasn't gonna work out. You was never gonna know what to do with me. You was never gonna be able to receive that. You was literally never. And so I start saying like, nah, God, next one he need to love his mama. It's a difference. It's a difference. And because some love their mamas, but they still jacked up from their mamas, and they weren't able to like really acknowledge like and this is how this has affected me. And don't just leave it there. This is how this has affected you, and this is, I'm working on this. I try not to do this. You get what I'm saying? Like, send me one that let his mama down bad and ain't like in therapy, because send me that one. That's what I was dealing with, because I would never say I was in therapy because of my daddy. I have normal people issues with my parents. Like, parents don't know what they're doing. Everybody got issues like that with their parents, praise it or not. But other people got real deal. Like, my first heartbreak wasn't something they did. It was something that, because they weren't paying attention to me, that's how I felt. If had they been paying attention when it happened, that was my first heartbreak. Like, not feeling like I was protected. Not, and understanding they was distracted. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about how many times I blank out and I check out and stuff now, and they had me well before the age I am right now. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I would have been as a parent at their age. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot. I need to be with somebody who, like, they mama love them down bad, because they're not gonna freak out when I'm trying to love them down bad. Like, that don't scare them. You get what I'm saying? Like, everybody else, and I was attracted. They were attracted to me for the wrong reasons, and it's like, baby, they was gonna reject you constantly. They don't know what that is. That's foreign to them, right? Like, no, get you a man who love his mama down bad. Okay, and has those boundaries with her, because there's levels to this. Not no man who love his mama down bad. His mama treat him like that's her husband. I ain't doing that either. So that was one reason I stopped talking to the other man. And he was like, so I'm really, for real, I'm not competing with your mama. I've had to share my daddy my whole life. I'm not sharing my husband with nobody. That's a decision I had to make for me. He got to be clingy up on me on this one. He can't be out here running around trying, mama included. I don't care. Excuse me, that's not gonna work for me. You can probably get another girl that's gonna work for her. For me though, that's what I gotta know what's gonna work for Megan. That's not gonna work for me. I've seen that my whole life. Guess who else always need my daddy? My grandma, because she ain't had no man in the house. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying nothing wrong. That's what you're doing. I'm not doing that. Okay. So you don't have to earn love. People who don't choose you, who hate you, who reject you, please know they're doing that to themselves. So it should become a little bit easier to forgive people at this point. They acting like they hate you because they hate themselves. They're not choosing you. They're rejecting you because they're doing that to themselves. People want you to hate yourself because they hate themselves. I ain't never just hated myself. I only ever thought I wasn't worthy because people around me wanted me to hate myself. I never just hated myself. That ain't never been that. But I started to not like myself and felt like I should hate myself because everybody around me was treating me like that. I just watched Cyberbully on Amazon Prime and I was crying real bad. I was like, God, I really survived all this bullying over the years. That's crazy. Which, once I started being really honest about that on Facebook, some people was acting like it was bothering them. Bullying can lead to suicide. And I'm going to always stand on that. That's why I don't play with my kids at church be telling me they're getting bullied. I don't play with my little cousins be telling me they're getting bullied, because I know what they can do to your mind. I know what it's done to my mind over the years. All these years of, Megan, you shouldn't be depressed about nothing. That was always my dad. I'm like, these folks be treating me horrible. That's what it will do to you. And so when people treat you like simply existing bothers them, you're going to feel like, well, maybe if I didn't exist, and that's how suicide comes in. Okay, I'm 31. I just figured that out. I was like, oh, when people in your family act like they hate you and you know you ain't did nothing, like they hate you simply for existing, and then people wonder why you don't want to exist, that is why. Okay. I thank God for keeping me throughout all these years of bullying, all these seasons of bullying, all these people bullying me, no matter who it was. I thank him for keeping me in my right mind and keeping me here. I don't play that. So when you're a parent, because I know it's real people out here who have straight up narcissists for parents. So this is beyond like your parent couldn't choose you. Your parent was choosing something else over you. That's one hurt. Another hurt is your parent is a narcissist. Sometimes God be looking out, right? Like, what if you actually had to stay in the house with them and they was a narcissist? You get what I'm saying? And you dealing with that every day. They literally treat you like they hate you every day for existing. How you think your mind gonna be? How you think your mental gonna be? What do you think that does to a child? If children think it's their fault their parents got a divorce, and that's something between the two parents, how do you think a child actually feels when a parent is treating them like trash? That's not good on the mental of a child. And so then you grow up and you're an adult and you struggling with all this stuff. That is why. That is why. And you're not in a house where you're safe and you're seen and somebody actually cares. And so then you get to church and you run into a Miss Megan. I know. I have these babies. And why they so clingy? Why they like this with me? Because that's what they doing at the house. That is what it is. Okay. So now I'm understanding that. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, God. I got it. I got it. So when you get older and you need to heal that hurt, I've been seeing some really good content, some really good comments. And this girl was like, I don't know. One day God just told me it was never me they hated. And she was like, I forgave. I think she was talking about her mama. She was like, I forgave her after that. And everything went good. And she was like, I don't be around her like that. But it was like the part of it that weighed on her and made her chase behind men like her mother and all that. She was like, ever since that day, I just have been different. God was like, it was never me that she hated. I was like, and that will set you free. So, what relationship y'all think I had to apply that to recently? Right? Like, it's not me. That's crazy. And so then you pray for people differently when you understand that. And then you understand why your parents how your parents is, because this is what they was working with. You know what I'm saying? You just it make you different when you realize you healing and you realize how hard it is to heal. Because I was telling my mom that earlier, like, hey, this has been kind of hard, and I don't think mine is that bad. Like, I don't get me wrong, like I know I got issues. One of the Kingdom Marriage words was gonna be that song. I got issues. You got them too. No, 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 no. I don't know who sing it, but we can basically fix it, even though we got issues. I know I got issues, but I know it's people who got deeper, darker stuff than me. But I know God can pull anybody out of anything, really. And so you pray for them different. Like if healing has been this hard for me with my level of where I think my issues are, how hard do you think it is for other people who went through even worse stuff to face what they're going through and to really sit down and deal with it? So you pray for people differently. Now, you're not gonna drag me into your hell. And this is just when boundaries are important, period. Because it don't matter how much I love you, how much I want to be with you, how much whatever. Like I said, because a real man not gonna bring you into no crazy stuff, but you need to not be willing to go into no crazy stuff with him either. Especially if you've worked so hard to, your life be peaceful. You're not finna drag me into no chaos. Now, that's not to say that life isn't gonna be life. Because I told my mom I'm recognizing like it's different levels of stress. Like it'd be like some unnecessary stress and drama and stuff going on, but then it'd be stress that's just related to life because that's just what life is. And I'm not saying you gotta have your man back through, whatever, but you gotta have the appropriate boundaries. Even if you are helping somebody with some stuff, you don't need to get lost in their stuff. Like I do care. This is affecting me. This is making me sad for you. I don't know how to show up for you, but it's also like, but I can't let this bring me down and make me depressed. And I need to pray for you with those boundaries in mind and show up for you with those boundaries in mind. And drink my water, y'all. And the last thing it said was you've been struggling because of your alignments with them, no matter how that looks. Some people in my family, I had to straight up cut off. Like, I don't even want to talk to you at all, actually. I can say that cool now, but when it was first happening, I had to grieve that. It was depressing. But your alignment with them could be anything. It don't just have to be them actually in your life. Like I'm saying, are you going to align yourself with the chaos in this man's life? I'm not actually. I'm gonna pray for you, sneaky butt, because I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's levels of this. You don't need to align yourself with no nonsense when you have been fighting like crazy to your life to not be nonsense, for your life to not be chaos. I also feel like I get distracted because whenever I'm like, oh, I'm gonna really love myself, here comes this man that I'm so attracted to, all this stuff. And it's like I'm trying to give him all the love and support and encouragement and energy that God thought I was about to give myself in this season. So you gotta stay focused on that. I'm also not gonna say that you can't do both because that's a conversation me and my sister had. She was like, I just don't understand why you act like you can't be in a relationship and work on yourself at the same time. I'm like, because that's how the dudes be making me feel. And I don't know if they feel like that because of social media, but I'm like, I don't understand why we can't heal together, grow together, build together. I don't understand that. And so Morgan's like, you gotta find somebody who think like how you think, Megan. Like let's work on ourselves together. Let's build this stuff together. And I'm like, you know what, girl? You're right. You're right. Right. So it's so much stuff. You can be friends with people. Being celibate is a great move. Being abstinent, that's abstaining, that's a great choice. Because then you really don't have to worry about too much crazy stuff. When you start sleeping with them, that's when it's like, I shouldn't have did that. Ooh, sorry, guys. Like, man, that's real. Okay. So it's just a lot. God is teaching me a lot. I feel like I'm doing this for the 15-year-old Megan who kept running behind boys who made it clear they didn't like you. Why does a man need to show you 100 times he don't value you, he don't respect you, he don't like you, and he's not choosing you? Why does he need to show you that 100 times? I don't know. You're not finna change that. Why does he need to show you that 100 times? All you're doing is chipping away at that princess stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, my princess been reactivated again. Like, you not coming over here to treat me no kind of way. Actually, I was watching Divorce in Black, and I'm really glad I didn't watch it when it first came out. I'm glad I watched it now because it's like I'm finally out of all that stuff. Um, and she was telling him, like, I just really feel like I need to focus on self-care and focus on myself. And I'm like, get me, because it's always what I'm telling the man that. That's when he's applying the most pressure. That's been my favorite relationship, actually, my favorite person, because every time we interact with each other, it's always like, I just need to focus on me. And he be listening, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. But like, exactly, because why you can't do both? Why you can't focus on me and focus on yourself and get to know me? You know what? Valid. Why can't I do that? So I feel like that's what happened in that movie. Like, and I know it's a movie, but like, she was coming out of a whole divorce. Did this pause? She was coming out of a whole divorce. She was really healing from some stuff, but it didn't stop nothing. And he had already experienced that same stuff. He was willing to drive. That's something I'm never entertaining, because even men who didn't like me made a drive to come and see me. So somebody who swear they like me, you ain't coming where? You're not coming to see who? Because even the ones who didn't like me made that trip. You get what I'm saying? So it's certain stuff I'm just not tolerating anymore. It's certain excuses I'm not listening to, no matter what it is. Oh, I'm going through it. I don't care what you're going through. If you like me, I'm expecting you to talk to me, sir. My dad talking about some people are just different. Some men are just different. Oh, okay. How often you talk to mom? Oh, well, I talk to your mama every day. Exactly. Stop telling me that I gotta accept this with these men, because I don't. And he started laughing. You know, dang well you talk to mama every day. He was like, not in the beginning. I'm like, yeah, in the beginning, but it should get to a point to where y'all are consistently, communicating, especially if y'all done sinned, which I'm not recommending you do. And I'm like, boy, you don't get on my face with that stuff. I don't want to hear none of that. That's a prayer point, Kiki. I've been praying that God help me receive the love. That if like God, I had a real moment with the Lord. I was like, look, if I've been pushing away the man that's for me and chasing behind the wrong man, like, help me receive love from the right man, God. I'm so sorry. But it's crazy because it's like, if you do have a parent or grandparent, sibling, cousin, people that you think supposed to love you, and they treat you like that, and it's like a man in your face, he's trying to treat you right. What is this? It's gonna feel weird. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that a man has to be perfect and he's never experienced that and he ain't struggled with that. But it has to be a man that's like, God, I don't want to miss out on my blessing, miss out on my wife, miss out on the woman you have for me, because I can't learn how to receive. And because I know what that feel like when a man is sitting up here and I'm having a hard time receiving. Well, you better heal and figure out how to receive it, right? I know how that feel. I don't ever want to make a man that's trying to love me feel like that. So I started to pray that. I was like, God, I don't want to reject anything else that's from you. Because I feel like that's what I always do. I always push away real love, and sometimes it can be a little tricky because that triggers you too. Like, when you're getting treated right, it really is going to trigger you. Being in a healthy relationship, that's going to trigger you. But I always chase behind people that's rejecting me, and I reject people that are genuinely, or men that are genuinely pursuing me. And so I really had to start praying that. I was like, God, I don't want to do that no more. It's getting old. And I don't want to hurt him. Like how I'm sitting up here and how so many sitting up here like, oh, that's my husband. No, I don't want to hurt him. And I don't want to be out here doing the most either. So I'm proud of me. I've been hitting everybody with them same two lines. Really, I'm trying to focus on myself, and if you get that figured out, and I'm still here, and if you gotta be okay losing people, that's okay losing you. And I remember saying that. I feel like you act like you don't care if you lose me. I do care if I lose you. A lie, because all your actions say you don't care if you lose me. You're lying. You are lying, sir. You don't care if you lose me. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool losing anybody that was cool losing me. In my mind, this man and me gonna link one time, and that's it. I don't know if it's because I keep seeing that post on social media. I think that's how it's supposed to go. But in my mind, ain't no way a man gonna feel this and just be okay not talking to me. Be okay with me not in his life. I don't believe that for 5 seconds. I do not believe that. So I'm currently working on me so I can be good to him. But more importantly, I want to be good to myself. You dig? Like, I put, be honest with yourself. You owe it to yourself. And I knew I had issues, which I kind of already hit on. I said, I knew I had issues. LOL. Uh, I've been healing. Don't rush it, baby. That's my favorite song. And I know I'm making progress in my healing journey when I start to randomly hear that, which I started hearing last week. I was like, yes. Falling in love with myself. And then the last thing on here for real is marriage is serious and having kids is serious. As much as I talk about marriage, I don't know if it's because so many people have came across my timeline announcing that they're getting divorces, they didn't have these kids together, they've been married for X amount of years. I don't know if it was such an influx of that, but when I was like the other day, because I haven't really been watching TV, I was in the room and I was like, oh my God, marriage is so serious. And as much as I've talked about marriage, I've talked about love, I've talked about kingdom marriage, it's not that I didn't think it was serious. It's just like, I really only want to get married one time. And I can't be mad at God that I'm not married right now. Because I feel like he knows I was not ready to get married. If I was ready to get married, he would have, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready to get married. Sometimes stuff just gotta be like, you know? And when I get married, I want to have that peace from him. Like all the stuff I talked about in all the videos, I don't think any of that is a lie. I don't think any of that is a lie. But God knows my partner. He knows I'm going to love this man right now at 30, and I'm going to love him. I'm 31. I'm going to love him at 55, 70. God knows that. He knows we are equipped to help each other through these seasons, because I do feel like a lot of people get a divorce because they don't know themselves. And I thank God, because it's like, hey, Shawty, you get to fall in love with yourself and know yourself before you get married. So you're not going to hit that age and be like, oh, what's my purpose? You're not going to have all these kids and just be confused all of a sudden. I see that. Like, I've had this time alone. And so I've been thanking him for this season alone. And so I got kind of scared. And I was like, I don't even think I want to get married. I was like, this is, and he was like, Megan. I was like, I'm for real. Now I'm scared. Like, oh my gosh. And then, because it's not going to change nothing. Me and God always have that conversation. You ain't going to get married and you just fixed and you just hold. That's not how marriage is. That's not how marriage works. If you unhappy before you get married, you're going to be unhappy when you get married. If you think marriage is going to fulfill you somehow, you're going to get married and realize it didn't fulfill you, because Jesus is literally the only thing. That's why you gotta bust these moves and do these things, because God is telling you to. God is instructing you to. And I always want to be excited in my marriage. I always want to feel like kids in my marriage and flirty and fun. And like, I want to feel like teenagers who got sense and who can do risky things, but it's not really risky because you got money and you stable. Like, that's how I want to feel. You know what I'm saying? And I really just value marriage too much to even play like that. Like, I made a Snapchat I didn't post, and I was like, see, y'all think I'm desperate, but y'all don't see where I was telling men no. And I wouldn't marry you. And you need to go to therapy first. And I've never been that desperate. Like, yes, I wanted somebody that was always around, always here for me, but I didn't want just any old body. And I'm chasing behind people that gotta change so much. Like, how about you change and you start liking people that you actually just like without them having to be a whole nother person? I'm like, I could do that. I could do that. Marriage is serious and having kids is serious. We talk about all these childhood wounds and traumas and stuff. Who finna bring a baby into this world and they don't teach the baby how to love themselves. I can't imagine having a little girl and I don't teach her how to choose herself, how to love herself. How am I, as her mom, gonna teach her that if I don't love myself and I'm not choosing myself? How am I gonna do it? Exactly. So these are things that I needed to learn now so that I could love on my children. And even me knowing, like, hey, these little boys crazy about their mama. I know they are. Like my two little cousins this year, I was telling my mom that this morning. We went on the beach trip, and I've already showed y'all the one. Now it's another one. He's younger. He was around this year. In love with me. So the older one was looking at me like, hey, you better back up. Like, that's my Megan. Like, that's how he was acting. Because the older one, Leland, is like 10 now. I think Leland will be 11 in December. But Leland really does not play that. Like, he wants to approve all my outfits, my hair, my nails. Megan, I think you should wear these earrings. Like, he is that. Is the word attuned? I don't know what the word is, but he is like in love with me. Leland has been like that since he was a toddler. Okay. And I ain't birthed this little boy. So imagine the boy I birthed. Like, I'm not finna hurt him, and I don't want him looking at women crazy because you get what I'm saying? That scares me. I know a lot of men, I don't want to do that. I want to love my son so well that he knows what a safe, peaceful, beautiful woman of God is. You get what I'm saying? I don't want him to run from that. I want to be that so sturdy and solid in his life that he chooses that. That's what I'm trying to say. And not only for my son, but I'm trying to be that for my little cousins and stuff. So they know, like, I don't want a girl to have me feel like how Meg did. Like, not to be weird, but you get what I'm saying? Like, just like with my daddy, like, nah, this man treat me like a princess. Sorry. I can't go nowhere where I can't settle nowhere where I'm not being treated like a princess. That's all I know. That's all I know. And that's just the provider piece. Like, I do want my husband to bring in that emotional piece. I've accepted that. But I want my sons to feel like that. And I want to show my daughters that good example. Like, this stuff is serious. But yeah, my other little cousin, though, he's probably like 5 or 6. Two of them, I was like, y'all have to back up. They was overstimulating me, and they get upset when they laugh, but they also get upset when I'm like, please leave me alone. Why? Why we can't be around you? You're gonna have to back up. You're overwhelming me. It's hot, and y'all both trying to sit up underneath me. Leave me alone. And then they be all just, what's that? What's that? Like, I can have a birthmark, like anything. They gonna notice it, and I ain't gonna hold y'all. I like my men like that. I love when a man just knows stuff about me. It's like, you paid attention to that? You know that? Yeah, you know that one you got. Like, how did you know that? Or even just, I saw my mom, my friend now, he's the type to like show up and he brought the candy I like because he saw me posted on my story or he heard me talking about it, or one day we was on the phone and I was like, ooh, I want a Reese. He's that type. I like that in a man. And I know that I like that in a man because I'm that type of woman. How did you know why? Because I pay attention. I pay attention. And I'm gonna try to love you how I feel like, or show you love, or do little things that make you happy and excited because that's how I am. Okay. So yeah, marriage is serious, having kids is serious, and I don't want neither if I ain't good. And God knows that. He knows my heart. I'm gonna say this for later. This is more so like a breakup word. I don't even know what to call it. This is a breakup conversation. I have been single for a year now. And I know y'all probably like, Megan, haven't you been single this whole time? I don't tell y'all everything. But I had a lot going on. That's when I started talking like these men. I had a lot going on, and I did have a situation here, and I had a situation not here. And last year, if y'all watch my other channel, which I am about to, I'm probably about to erase all those videos. We don't act like none of that happened. Last year, before the holidays, I was so fed up. And I was like, you know what? I'm finna just be single for the holidays. And I stood on it. I was very surprised by myself. I don't want to talk to nobody. I had all that stuff going on at work. People swear up and down they love you. Where do they be? I don't know. Now, I will say this because it's not really fair to do that. Okay. Let me not do that. When you're drowning, of course you want somebody to help you, right? But they can't help you if they're also drowning. So I think that's an important thing if you really talk about kingdom marriage, and I'm being for real, in the oneness. he can't help you. And so being mad at him if he ain't showing up how you want him to show up when you want him to show up, but he's trying to learn how to show up for himself. A man that can't show up for himself is not about to show up for you. Period. A woman that has not learned how to protect her peace is not going to be peaceful in your life. That's just facts, okay? So I was mad about that. And I didn't care what God was telling me, which is really bad to admit, but I didn't care. And I will say lately he's been talking to me about men mental health. And at first I thought I was tripping, but then as soon as I got on Facebook this morning, that interview with Gucci and Keisha was on there, and I was like, mm-hmm. And especially when you're talking about a man of influence and he does know God and he has gifts of God, I feel like a lot of men in that lifestyle, they really do get like lured off and pulled away. And usually they had rougher upbringings. I don't know what women in their life are like me. I'll put it that way. Because my one situation, I ended up hearing his mom talk on the phone one day, and I was like, no wonder you be doing this stupid stuff. I was like, no wonder you be doing that. Like, what is she doing? What kind of advice is that to give you? So I'm saying that because I think it's an agenda. I think the devil got one. Future is who's coming to mind. I don't know nothing about his upbringing or his mama, but they usually don't have a woman that can like I heard what Keisha was saying, and I thought that was all well and good, but everything they were saying just made me think deliverance. Like he needs deliverance. And most men in those positions, they don't got no woman that like praise it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the conviction, the anointing, the authority ain't even in her voice. You know what I'm saying? And that's your wife. I'm not speaking bad about them, but I'm saying all the words are released. And if that man is really gonna be what God said that man gonna be, and y'all gonna be different, you're gonna be different. You I know the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole nother conversation when we talk about those things. So mental health for the men matters, and I think they get attacked harder when they are in those positions. I really do. People in the comments are talking about Kanye, but when you think about how they inspire and influence and create and touch so many people all over the world, their lives, it's just different. Like, think about what type of woman you really got to be that type of woman in his life in any capacity, friend, lover, wife, wherever. Like, it's just different. Most people, I do feel like, fall short of that. Like Rich Homie, I'm always praying, like rebuking premature death. Some Rich Homie Quan song was on some post I saw today, maybe, or maybe it played on my shuffle. I don't remember. But he was talking about how he was breaking so many generational curses and stuff, and I still can't believe he died. He was one of my favorite. I love listening to him just talk about stuff. And set boundaries. I think sometimes we think the best thing we can do for them is just give them this love that has no boundaries. And that's not the best thing to do for him. The best thing to do for him is to have boundaries, and you teach him boundaries. Because then he gonna need boundaries in this world and in that industry and wherever he's doing. And the boundaries also gonna help him man up to treat you better. Like, I didn't even mean to do all that. But no matter who he is, hometown celebrity, real life celebrity, I don't care who he is. Jesus is the celebrity, right? But their mental health matters. And sadly, in that industry, because I feel like Gucci said that. He was like, I was just in the studio making more music. Right. But you having a whole mental episode. But don't nobody know that. No, don't nobody see that. And so, and to you, it's just more productivity, more money, more, you know what I'm saying? But really, you're not healthy. People got to know that. They got to see that. All money ain't good money. I'm standing on that. I don't care if you did have a great night in the studio, but you was struggling and the demons was trying to talk to you. Like, I don't care. And so then what are you releasing out into the world? Like, I think like that. I think like that. And I'm not going to change for nothing. I'm not going to change what God has shown me or how I see things because a man got money. In fact, I don't care. That's I was telling my mom that earlier. I always talk about this one ex who be like, "You'll get to tell people you no, you'll get to tell people you fooled me. Don't ever get it twisted." I ain't never cared about stuff like that. I don't care how famous you think you are. I don't care how popular you think you are. I do not care, sir. Jesus, okay? Like last I checked, you wasn't him. You'd never be him. And that was something else I realized last year. And I just started talking about a lot of stuff. But like when you really know the Lord, men really think like, oh, I got her good because of the physicalness. Like, ain't no physical action any man is giving me better than the love of God. And I didn't have to go through a whole lot of stuff to figure that out. And I thank God for that. But yeah, their mental health matters. And so you may be wondering why your mental health was attacked the way it was. But that's not, I told my mama that I'm like, I got authority over all that. All of it, Playboy. Like, that's why. How and then you the separation part and keeping y'all separated. I wasn't even trying to do all this because I don't want to talk about none of this stuff no more. I'm not talking about it no more. There is okay, I left one out. There is sacrifice in the separation. So think about that. Like on some real stuff. Like even if you is out here dating, do what you want to do. And is. But when Jesus separated from them, when he had to go to like he went to hell, he got the keys and everything, and everybody was sad because he was gone for 3 days. But then there was another level of separation, like, but now I'm going to paradise though, and like I'm gonna prepare a place for you. There's levels to this, but there's sacrifice in that. He literally gave up his life, but in the sacrifice, he had that power and that authority. So I feel like mine is more so on that end. Like I need to get away from you so I can be a better person. And me being a better person is gonna help you in the long run because I am gonna have authority over these things. That's how I feel as a woman. Not saying a man can't feel like that. Just even like my dad's deployments and stuff, he was away from us so he could make money for us. That is a thing. There is a level of sacrifice in some separations, not all of them. Some separations, they need to be that. They need to be permanent. Y'all don't need to be in each other's lives. And then there's also that level of separation and preparing a place, which that's what my mom was talking about. This generation of men feel like they don't need to pursue. Who told them that? Like, yeah, the wrong woman, but the right woman, you can prepare the place and make plans and stuff without her. Or I mean, with her, but they act like they got to do it without you. And so then there's I made a word about that. I can never find it. It was a long time ago, but it was good. I remember writing it that night. Holy Spirit was all on me. But Jesus is literally preparing a place for us now. He's doing that now. So there's a level of sacrifice and separation. He ain't down here with us right now because he will be an eternity and he needs to be away from us so he can prepare. That's what my doctor prayed in July. Position, preparation, and not chasing, and been separated ever since. Like I don't know how that happens, but it is what it is. Yeah. So that really was the thing. Period. Yes, I'm telling you, so man, it's crazy. I'm like, they go through so much stuff, and a lot of them aren't as forthcoming. That's why I do thank God when they are and they do trust me, because it's like, I don't know what you think I'm gonna do, like laugh. Even though one time I did laugh, but I didn't laugh because I thought it was funny. I laughed because of how he said it, because he's a character. I was like, why would you say something so serious like that? I hope he knows that. I was not laughing because he told me what he was going through. But I appreciate it when a man trust me enough to open up to me about that. And most of the time, the ones I deal with, they do. Like they're not perfect. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I feel like I've only really dated like one, like, boo, tomato, get him out of here. Okay, no, two. Two. Everybody else, they're pretty cool. They just not for me. So you gotta hate everybody. But yeah, I remember one didn't talk to me for like a month and he came back and he told me what was going on. And I was like, dang. Like, and I really believed him. Like I said, they don't have a place to really go for real. And if they don't have a relationship like that with God, and think about some of them, like they living in a way to where they can't have a relationship like that with God. Right? So where do they have to go? Because I'm not saying they can't. They can have a relationship with God, but if they deepen their relationship with God, He gonna change everything up, mess everything up. So a lot of times that's why people don't want to get close to God. I know where a man is at with God based off of how he deal with me. So if he real avoidant of me and real like running away from me, I'm like, this boy don't even sit down and let God talk to him. He act like talking to me. It's like, what is wrong with you? Like, I know where a man is with God based off of how our relationship is. Like, what did I do to you? I'm like, oh, he running from the spirit. He running from the truth. He running from love. Like, why you want to deal with a man who's doing that? You don't want to deal with that. But you can pray for him. I'm real big on like if you love him, pray for him. It don't matter if y'all speaking or not. If you love him, pray for him. But it's important because if his mental health is off, it can throw off the whole family dynamic, especially if the woman, that's what I'm saying, pray you down. Like, I don't play those games. Like, it's important for her to be strong and up. And sometimes I do feel like that's why God sent certain men in my life during certain seasons of their life because it's like, I'm straight. I beat that. And I'm there to uplift them and help them while they're going through that. That don't mean he was my husband. Patrick said that. Yeah. Wait, where do they go? That's what I'm saying. Even if, especially if they were never taught that with their mom, with their grandma, like where do they go if they're hurting or their feelings are hurt? Where do they go? Free of judgment. Because me, I saw a video the other day and the man was like, because sometimes girls get disrespectful if even what you're saying is true, but it hurts them. Don't come up here with no crazy stuff because I'm not gonna talk to you sweet after that. I'm glad you felt like you could tell me the truth, but you could have not told me that. You could have not told me that. And I will say that's something that's been really sweet, like just feeling like friends because I do want to feel like my husband's best friend. I want him to feel like mine. That's always sweet when y'all don't have that romantic pressure on it. And it's like, well, I'm here for you and I get to talk to you and you trust me and let me know you're mine and stuff. I do like that. And vice versa. Because with this shutdown, baby, crazy. I'm actually pretty straight though, I think. I keep saying that and I'm trying to check to make sure I am, but I really do think I am. Yeah. So we got to be emotionally stable and mentally well so that we can be that safe place for them and that they know everything is going to be okay. The devil attacked them too. The devil don't just attack us, but he has to heal. Like the devil has to have stuff to actually jump on. And so when we heal those wounds, he can't just hop in them. Cuz hearing voices, that is nothing but the devil and demons trying to talk to you. That's what that is. And the bipolar stuff, because I think that was his diagnosis. They say he was schizophrenic and bipolar. I told y'all, had I went to the doctor, I know they could have diagnosed me with bipolar. And that was one of the scariest things ever. Because I was like, I felt like that night. I was like, what is happening? Who is telling me to do this? Like I knew something was trying to encourage me to do something that I would not normally do. That was very out of character for me. And I'm glad I had that level of sensitivity in that moment. Because what if I didn't? And I wrestled with that thing. And I woke up and threw a demon off of me the next morning. I was like, this is what was on me whispering to me, telling me to go do that crazy stuff. I was like, oh no, baby. And I really got really serious about learning about mental health and demonic stuff and deliverance after all that. I was like, that can't happen again. That's crazy. Mm-mm. And so they gotta heal. I'm telling you, men are sweeties. Like I don't know, but God just talking to me about the one, even the ones that it didn't work out and it was kind of crazy. God is like, he was the sweetest little boy. I believe you. I bet he was sweet, and look what life did to him. And it takes the love of God to get them back to that, to where they're not ashamed and or scared to, be lovey-dovey, be vulnerable, be all over you. Because think about most little boys. Like when I think about like most of the boys, and if they want to hug, they just stand there and they're like, and I'm like, do you want to hug? Like that's how little boys are. Some of them just run up to you and give you a hug, but some of them it's not that easy for them to do that. And I just pray that the little boy in them be healing, because the little girl in me, she needed that. She needed this year. She needed this year. Thank God for that. But okay, y'all, I have yapped way longer than anticipated. What did you say, Kiki? Oh, thank you, Krista. I didn't even see her message. How do I? Can I love it? I can't love it. Mm. I'm not over YouTube. I don't. Y'all are so sweet. I'm reading some of this stuff. I don't. Oh, rejection. Yeah, but I'm not gonna say yeah, but because I struggle with that too. Like I jokingly told my friend, like, I'm not good at rejection. And he was laughing because all I ever did was reject him. Like, girl, what you mean not good at rejection? Like, okay, it's different if I'm rejecting you. I'm saying I was rejecting you because of all the rejection I faced. Um, and I think we just gotta sit with God. Like he everything, he the mama and daddy you could have ever wanted, right? So if he the parent you could have ever wanted, he everything else. He the grandparent you could have ever wanted. He's the cousin friend you could have ever wanted. Jesus is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And so we get caught up and messed up because of how humans treated us. And God never wanted that. He wanted us to be able to be like, okay, God loves me though. But that's hard when we don't really sit and let that like be made true for us. I don't care what nobody talking about no more. I know I be saying that, but I'm like, the more time goes on, the more I feel like that. I don't care what nobody's talking about. God loves me. Jesus died for me. He thinks I'm hilarious. And that's why I gotta be around people who are like that. So these what was the note? What did it say? What did the note say? You've been struggling because of your alignment with these people who reject themselves. These people who reject the Lord. That's that preacher voice, right? Well, that's really a prophet voice, but that's why you're struggling because you are aligned with people who reject him, who reject themselves. You get around some people who don't reject him, who love themselves. You know how easy it becomes to love yourself, and then you can't be the weird one in the group because you don't love yourself. So now you the weird one because you don't love yourself because you've been dealing with these people who don't love themselves. I'm not doing that no more. I'm like, it only took one time for God to show me I was hurting something that loved me. No, help me not do that, God. So it gets better, and then you just pray for those people, and you live your life. It was making me depressed to not be living my life because I was waiting on somebody to. You're doing a disservice to yourself and to that person. You have to live your life, and you have to receive the good stuff God has for you. It's easier said than done because it was I would have been did it if it was easy. But cutting off my family really didn't make a huge difference. I was like, I know you lying. Y'all the reason I was looking at myself sideways. I even sent my mom them the pictures last night and I was like, why did I never post these? And my sister's like, why didn't you post those? I was like, I think even being around the wrong people made me feel like I was ugly, which is crazy work. Like, why didn't I post these pictures? Like their literal energy and presence in my life make me feel horrible about myself. I cut them off. I I cut a lot of people off in March, right after the wedding. And then I cut some people off in April. And then I think I cut other people off in July. That's what I'm saying. July had a lot going on. I cut them off in July and everything changed after that. I was like, I would have even did this. Are you kidding me? And some of them cut up and made it very obvious that they are too worried about me because how in the world I'm not even going on that. I had fans at the house before I could ever become famous, and I'm standing on that one too. But somebody commented that on something today too, and I was cracking up. He was like, I should have known, boy, my family was acting like fans. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I cut them off, and life's just been I'm like, I've been lit this whole time, God, and I didn't know it because I was wrong. And I didn't feel like I deserved it because I knew they didn't want me to have it. cut them off, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm coming for all of that. Like, but having them around and having to go around them and expecting them to be happy for me, maybe they're not happy for themselves. Why they be happy for you? And then they trying to copy you. But that's why I don't work for them, because I got to this place because of my sincere love and obedience to the Lord. And people who move like that, they don't reverence him. One of my babies said reverence in children's church the other day. I was like, how do you know that word? You're not old enough to know that word. But Kiki, you do deserve it. Like, I have to do affirmations a lot, and I was about to tell you, you are beautiful inside and out. You are a beautiful person. You've been through some of the worst stuff, and you are still so sweet and so kind to people. Do you know how rare that is? That's why people don't like you for no reason. Like, you do deserve it. God knows you deserve it. And he's always trying to give us that stuff. He's always trying to freely give us all of these things. And we be like, no, God, it's not like, no, receive it. Receive it. You do deserve it. Don't let people who are hurt and who have tried to mistreat you your whole life, who don't want you to have the love from him, make you feel like you don't deserve the love from him, however that looks. If it is a good man loving you the way he loves you, like, why in the world would I push that away for so long? That is why I call my daddy crying. I'm like, am I crazy? It's been a man over here trying to love me right the whole time, and he looked like this guy. Like, that's how it was, but it was messing me up in the head, because it was like, ain't no way I've been pushing this away for this many years, because these folks didn't want me to be happy. They didn't want me to be successful. They didn't want me to reach goals and accomplishments that they never reached. They didn't want me to, Kiki, take care of myself, how I look. How I look. Oh my God, I'm not ugly. I don't even be trying sometimes. Right. And so I tone it down because I don't want people to treat me even worse. Bump that. Bump that. The other day I said, God, everybody that tried to make me uncomfortable ever in life, I hope they're uncomfortable for the rest of theirs. Like, I was like, okay, maybe I can't pray that. But all them people trying to make me uncomfortable about what I was blessed with, blessed to have, blessed to know. Now y'all finna be extra uncomfortable. I ain't even give it yet. I love that part of that song. I ain't even give it yet. This is me chilling because of how y'all act over that stuff. And none of my family is invited to my wedding. I keep thinking like I'm gonna change my mind. I'm not. You're right. Y'all treating me like crap all these years. You ain't finna be at my wedding, and you not gonna be my husband, and you definitely not finna be around my kids. And I mean that. Mean it. Why? So you can try to break their spirits like you tried to break mine all these years? I don't think so. Like, them conversations I've been having. I might get over it, I might not. To the extent of like, I let it go and they get, nah, you didn't even want me to be happy. Like, I don't want you nowhere near me, actually. Actually, because even when I wasn't happy, I wanted everybody to be happy because I wanted to be happy, but I was struggling to be happy, but I still wanted people to be happy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on no type of time like that. I don't like that. So be happy. Let the money come. That is something that's been interesting. Everybody asks me if I'm stressed out about not working, and I'm like, I'm so spend a check and get it right back. I don't know when the getting it right back is coming, but in my mind, money does constantly flow to me in my mind, right? So I'm like, we about to see because you just got to exist the same way we were saying, like, God just exists. You just have to exist to receive his blessings, like, purely, right? But you just got to exist. You just got to be you wherever he wants you to be you at. You just have to exist and do and be, but from that place of not performing, but just like being who you are. And everything else gonna come with that. I'm figuring that out. I'm like, man, I wish I would have figured this out 6 years ago, 11 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, God. But you just have to exist. And everything that wants you, everything you want wants you back. I'm figuring that out too. So I've been having to have conversations like that with myself. I've been having to give myself those type of affirmations. And like, if it's not what I want, the answer is no. Because I know how I want to be treated. I know how I want a man to look at me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I know how I want him to look at me. I want him to brag about me. Like, God really blessed me with this girl, and she's this. Yeah. Yeah. I want him to see the princess treatment on me so bad. Like, not even just my daddy, but how I treat myself, that he know he gotta go work even harder. Like, I know what I want. He gotta go work even harder to take care of me and give me what I want. Right. Which, to his surprise, is gonna be quality time and physical touch. I don't even want your money, Pooh, but I want him to want to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I want. So if it's not that, I don't even know what you're ever talking to me for. Honestly. Write us up. I'm also getting a lot of men with kids in my DMs, which I understand because I post children church every other week and they know I'm good with kids and they probably think like, oh, she went my no, and I ain't taking on I'm not doing that. Me and my mom was having that conversation. She swore she never would, and she got my daddy who had a kid. It's the only way I'm gonna get with somebody who got a kid is if I already dated him and he has a kid. But just a new man with kids, I don't do that because I already know. Like I did that. I dated my high school ex again in my early 20s, and I was a stepmama. I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with your baby's mom. And also, usually them kids be. I'm not doing it. That's how I'm not doing it. I gotta already trust that man as a man and have some level of love for him before I sign up for somebody with some kids and their mother. Now I could be saying this, and God is like, okay, you're gonna block your blessing, but I'm just not. And I also deal with kids so much that I'm not. I think people think because I deal with them so much, I don't mind. But because I literally already deal with so many other people's kids so much, I never wanted to be with a man who already had kids. Not like that. Now, hear me. I didn't release these words, right? About your husband may have kids and this. Okay, yeah, I knew who I was talking about when I was making them words, though. Uh, he's a good daddy. He can be my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew what I was saying. So, there's that. Life's good. I love y'all. I don't know how long I'm gonna leave this up. Heather! My girl. Hey, when y'all leave comments, am I seeing comments from where you are in the video or is it live? How does that work? I always wondered that. Because sometimes I get to a sermon late and I'll be putting comments in there. And I'm like, wait, can they see this now? Or is it gonna be like in the backlog of comments? That always happens when I'm watching Sarah Jakes. Heather, I saw your video the other day and I'm like, we be on the same thing all the time. I was like, God, it ain't fair. It's not fair. I want him to be like, have y'all seen her though? Like, have you seen this girl on my arm? Have you seen her? My girl! And I only have pretty women on my channel. I knew that years ago. Do you hear me? Like, but I knew that years ago. Like, I was like, God, what is this? And then I think about all the pretty women that I follow, and I just love them because they're pretty, but they have good insides. And I'm like, nah, am I one of those? Am I one of them? But I love that. I love that. And I want my husband to really be on some like, God did not give me this girl. Yes, he did. Ah, so happy for you, babe. Like, that's how I want it to be. Because it's the same with me. I was literally rewatching a live on this morning that I did in December. I think I made it private. I did. But I was saying that. I was talking to y'all and I was like, he's fine too. I was like, where did that come from? Like, yeah, because your husband gonna be a good man. But we got the best of both. And that's so rare in this day and age. Like somebody that really knows God, somebody whose heart really is for God and for people, but they look like how they look. Because I know a lot of people who look good, but they're horrible inside. But I'll tell my mom that's starting to shift in me too, because now usually if you look bad inside, I think you're ugly. And I'm like, and I don't know if it's just my eyes, but yes, number one cheerleader. Support every goal you have. Y'all, I did my eyebrows because I've been at the house. And I think I told y'all that before. This man, I had did my lashes, and he was like, "Oh, you did so good on your lashes!" Like he was so happy for me. That's what I want, like that childlike, like best friend, like silly stuff. Like now we clapping because I did good on my lashes. Thank you. Like that's what I want. That's what I want. And we both know we look good, but we ain't got to worry about cheating and stuff. That right there, that's on the top of the list. As of lately, I don't care how much attention you get because I get a lot of attention too. And if I really put myself out there the way that I was supposed to, I'd be getting even more attention. But I don't do that. And I don't want to be worried about, oh, he get all this attention and he don't know how to act. I'm not doing. I'm 31. That was cool in my 20s. It's not cool no more. And I had a dream about that. It was Dana Chanel and her husband Donnell, and she was not worried about her husband trying to hit on us, flirt with us, any of that. Exactly. That's how I expect my man to act. I don't want to have to, who you texting, who on your phone, but I also want him to be reassuring. That's been my favorite word lately. Like, so I don't worry about anything because he do know I've been through crazy stuff. But I don't want to worry about that. I want us to both look good and both know can't nobody get us. You ain't gotta worry about me entertaining nobody. And I better not have to worry about you entertaining nobody. Especially if you really like, I think people give famous people passes. I ain't giving them none. Zero. I don't care how many girls would help you ruin your relationship with me. You better act like you got some sense. That's how I feel. So I'm excited. The time is going to come. Mr. Him. Hello. The time is going to come though. That's not like I really have calmed down. I'm not even pressed about it. It's other stuff that I need to worry about, figure out. I've been trying not to get in that mode where all I do is work because I do feel like that was making me lack on my healing, and I do feel like it was more masculine because this boy, he randomly wrote me and he was like, Megan, your time is gonna come. He's coming. He was like, you probably intimidate a lot of men. I do, but something else I'm realizing, I'm not gonna be not less ambitious to make a man comfortable, because in my mind, then you're not my man. Like, I'm having to just be for real. I'm having to be for real with myself. If he's saying this, if he's made it clear that you're not his priority, if he's made it clear that this is what he, let him do that. Let him do that. Let him do that. Because I'm gonna still be me and be ambitious, but I'm not finna dial it down and lie to myself so I can keep him around. I'm cool losing anything, cool losing me. Because any man that's not cool losing you, he not gonna make no excuses. It don't matter what he is trying to pursue. If he don't want to lose you, he's gonna prioritize you. Unless you making him feel like he ain't gotta prioritize you and he can still keep you. No, I think this year was funny just because a lot of people, oh, you thought she was gonna not treat me like the princess I am and still be in my life? No. I don't care who you are. Family, men, I don't care who you are. Like, respecting me, not an option. Listening to me about what I like and don't like, not an option. If I say I don't like it, don't make me repeat myself. Because the men I deal with, they treat me like that. Like, why I gotta tell you 2 times? Okay, why do I have to tell you 2 times not to do this? Same thing, buddy. So yeah, I'm trying not to get back in that mode where I'm out here acting like a little baby and I'm only focused on money and I'm not getting married. I'm trying not to get in that mode. But I'm trying to like balance it out. Like, manifesting the love of my life while also working towards my goals, and then we'll be able to work towards goals together. This is what me and my mom was talking about earlier. I want us to support each other, but I also want our stuff to like connect beautifully to where, like, if I'm working on something, it's going to benefit him. If he's working on something that's going to benefit me, we can do stuff together. Like, I know what I want in life. I've been figuring it out over the years, but now I'm really like, nah, I know what I want. I am not saying yes to anything that's not that. I'm not doing it. I can't. I like it. I already got a man. I was saying I was married for the longest. I confuse people. And that's all I think when I start posting certain stuff on Facebook and people was like, you're single. I'm like, babe, I've been single. What are you talking about? I don't like people like that. I do not like people like that. I do not talk to people like that. And nor you be in my business. And Facebook would never know that I thought I knew who my husband was. Why would I tell y'all that? You single? I've been single since before the holidays last year. I do not fool with them folks. New number, everything. I'm excited. If I start going live on my other channel, will y'all come over there? Because I'm not saying I'm trying to hang Pretty Daisy up. I'm feeling less inclined to share what me and God are talking about. I feel like that season of my life is over. Like, the idea of recording this other word for y'all and editing it and uploading it, I do not feel like doing it. I do not feel like doing it. I'm gonna have to go live again and talk about it. It's my name. It's I'm trying to see the at. It's at. I didn't make a handle for this one. Maybe I didn't. Oh, it's at Megan Michelle. I want to start doing the stuff that I've been wanting to do. I really do. I'm just excited. I've been out here for almost 2.5 hours. All right, y'all. Anything else? Are all hearts and minds clear with my glasses falling down on my nose? YouTube is at Mega Michelle. TikTok is at Meg Michelle. And my TikToks that went up the craziest, y'all know I was talking about relationships. I'm like, God, I don't want to do that no more. I thought I was gonna start talking about my narcissistic ex, but then I started getting treated right, and I was like, who? I don't even want to talk about that. I want to forget that happened. I want to forget that happens. I'd rather just focus on being treated right. But then I went to get my hair done, and I was talking to my girl, and she was like, I think you need to make those TikToks because everything you be telling me, like, I don't know that. And you be teaching me something new because she's younger. And she's like, I think you need to make the TikToks. I was like, no, I don't want to talk about that man. And it's not really talking about him, it's talking about the experience. And right now would really be the perfect time to do it because I'm off. I'm so like, I want to forget it. I want to forget that all that happened. I want to forget. What is that? I want to forget all the bad relationships. I want to forget the Megan who tolerated that. Although I know I have to love her because she was just trying to survive and be loved. But I want to, I want to be in my new era and not think about the past one. I don't know if that's wrong of me, but like, I got advice for days, all the stuff I went through. Even down to like them family hurts. I'm like, why did I think a man could treat me like this? Why did I ever think that? Like, I'm laughing, but when I called my daddy and really asked him, he didn't even have an answer. I'm like, you weren't gonna say the answer I had. I know why let him treat me like that. I knew he wasn't gonna say, tell me why. It hurt him for me to be that hurt. I was like, why let them do me like this? Why are you entertaining a man if you know you want to be a wife and you want to be a mommy? Why are you entertaining a man who will never give you that or who you can never have that with? Why are you doing that? Like, you playing yourself. You betraying yourself. And being around people who always betray you teaches you to betray yourself. You betray yourself every time you try to stay connected to them folks. I don't care who it is. And I will also say this, my dream where, because I was telling my mom, I don't know if I did that whole thing where the dreams was accurate and I was seeing the wrong face again. Unsure. But the 3 people that were in the car with me and they were trying to convince me that this man didn't love me, he does not love her. Oh my God, he does not love you. But even in a dream, I was like, he does love me. Look at all the stuff he's doing. He does love me. I could tell from his actions, like, he loves me. I don't talk to any of those 3 people anymore. And it took time. I had that dream like 2-3 years ago and was still dealing with them folks. I don't know how. If God was showing me what type of time they was on, they never wanted to see me loved properly by somebody like that. Because in my dreams, it's always understood my man is that man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's him for real. And they didn't want me to, they were trying to talk me out, convince me he didn't love me, even though he loves me. And then I had another dream where I was fixing to move and go be with him. And they were doing nothing but putting doubt and stuff in me. And then when he showed up and I moved, I was like, oh my God, like, face on the floor. Right. Like I've been trying to tell you guys, you didn't listen. So them same girls, literally, I do not fool with them no more. I don't know what took me so long when I had them dreams 2-3 years ago. How can God show you something so clear and you keep fooling with them? I don't know. You and if you really want to be married that bad, you would think like you would have let them go. You would think. You would think. You would think. And everything ain't always like bad blood. I think it's like the ugly stepsisters in Cinderella. I really do. I don't even think it's like when that movie started, I might watch the new one. The new one that I told you I watched when I was sick and I was crying. And as soon as they saw Cinderella, I mean, as soon as they saw Cinderella, the mom was like, the evil stepmom was like, Cinderella was more beautiful than her daughters, and she knew it. Exactly. But here's the thing, Cinderella was more beautiful than in physical looks. Got them, right? But she was more kind and generous and gentle and sweet than them as well. And so they did everything they could to keep her from getting to that king who did indeed love her. Like, for real, whether that's Jesus or your man, because Jesus is definitely him. But they did everything they could to keep her from that. That's why they kept her in rags. That's why they kept her with the cinders on her face, right? Like, but it didn't matter. Even when she was at her lowest, in my humble opinion, how they portray them in the movies, them heifers is always ugly. It don't matter. They can have on the nicest stuff and they're still ugly. My mom has always told me that. She was like, Megan, you could put on the most, well, this isn't really ugly outfits, but she was like, you can put on the most tasteless clothes and you are still going to look like a sweet girl because that's what you are. Even now at 31, I told her I saw this video and the girl said she wasn't beating the cutie patootie allegations. That's me. And my mom was like, no, for real. Like, you could put on the most like crazy clothes and you're still going to look like a sweetheart. She was like, it's girls who could dress like a nun. They still look like a hoe, basically. Do you get what I'm saying? They're still going to give off that energy. It's inward beauty, truly. So even they're trying to make sure she don't get a dress, she don't get to the ball, and she get a custom made dress, custom shoes, steals everybody attention. Even before he see her come in, everybody like, who is that? Who is she? Right? That's who you are. That is who you are. Like you prettier than them girls, all of them combined, physically, but also your insides, all of them combined, you're prettier. And people will know that. And so they just get in the way. They know you're destined to be successful. You're destined to make it. They know that. So they get in the way because they ugly. And I hate when I'm like, you weird, you ugly, you a loser, you lame. I hate being like that, but I feel like I'm having to be like that lately. The devil lame. He want me to get back on YouTube. That's okay. But yeah, that's how I'm starting to feel. And humbly though. That's what I'm saying. I don't like being like this, but humbly. Your husband really gonna be like bragging on you. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes like, I just know stuff. Like, he gonna be bragging on you. Like, do you see this girl? You see how she treat people? See how she love people? You see how she still like this after all the stuff she been through? Like, and you gonna feel the same way about him. You see how good of a man he still is, how he still show up, even after everything life threw at him. Because some people don't have like family hurt, like how we have family hurt, but they have more of the relationship hurt. Me personally, I feel like I have both. I have both, but I know people who wouldn't say their parents, it wasn't nothing traumatized. I can't really say my parents traumatized me. I just had a traumatizing experience. I can't really say they traumatized me. But some people don't have that, and it's just they hearts were so good. They was trying to love people who was not built like them. I used to think I had to be with a man who was like opposite of me. No, absolutely not. Send me one who values family the same way I do. Seriously. And even if somebody grew up and they didn't have family, it could be somebody who still values it. They may not have grown up the same way you grew up, but they want their children to have that. They want to be able to create that in the home. That's what matters. Like, it's not about what they had or didn't have growing up. It's about what they want to have now as an adult and create for their children. Like, that's where y'all gotta be on the same page. That's where y'all gotta be on the same page. I keep saying I'm gonna go when I don't leave. I'm convinced they just ugly, period. She like, you just ugly. Get out of my face. And I had a very all the relationships I was supposed to be in my life, it really do be like them people be right under my nose the whole time. And I am very impressed with my eyebrows. Y'all don't pay me no attention. But I'm always so surprised that they are like they be right there. Like, you was who I was supposed to be spending time with. You was who I could tell my business to, and I didn't have to worry about you being weird. You was who. That's crazy. How did I not know that? Like, I promise y'all, I cut off my trifling cousins, my cousins who was trying to destiny swap, my hate and tell older family members. And then it was like, that boy never liked me. Blocked. He didn't either. Blocked. Why was I putting up his disrespect and mean ways and abuse? Blocked. And then it was like, and that heifer was never my friend. Blocked. Like, it's so crazy how that made that stuff so clear to me, because it was like I was dating men who reminded me of my mean family. I was befriending girls who reminded me of my jealous, attempting to destiny swap cousins. Why am I friends with you? But I felt like I had to be, because when people tell you can't cut off your family, now you think you can't cut off this man. Now you think you can't cut off these women. Yes, you can. I'm gonna cut the family off, the men off, and the girls. And that's exactly what I did. I don't even, one man can talk to me right now. One. Everybody else, please leave me alone. And I don't have no female friends. Okay, I lied. Yes, I do. I do. But we meet up. I'm such a liar. Okay, one man can talk to me, and we're just friends. And I have a group of mentors, so I'm the baby. I would arguably say a friend group, but it's not really a friend group because I'm the baby. They're my mentors. We go out every other month, and then I have friends who are more like sisters though, and we meet once a month, and they are the only people who know all of my business. And even then, I don't tell everybody everything now. So that's where I am. I changed this number and I stopped playing all them games. It's people like, this is my phone that be in my room with me. This is a Go phone. 5 people can talk to me. This is the old phone, like the business phone. I don't even check this. I be getting payment notifications and don't even see it. Like, this is how much I don't check this phone. But this is the phone everybody can still reach out to me or whatever if they want to. But I blocked people on this. Like, this is all blue dots. I don't respond to anybody. Can y'all imagine how my DMs look? This is all blue dots. Do y'all see this? So that's another thing. When you really do have influence like that and you really are popular or whatever, especially with these men, and I be trying to explain that to them. I'm like, too many people have access to you and you wonder why your mental health is so bad. Too many people are pulling on you in the spirit and you let them. This phone is barely on these days. When I switched this number, that made a drastic improvement in my life too. People I don't really want to fool with, they only have this number, but I already barely checked this one. Again, did y'all hear me say I'm missing payment notifications? Because it comes through on that one. So you have to be very mindful of that. If my phone looks like this, imagine what my DMs look like. And then people be wondering why I don't open them messages. I know you lying. Do y'all know how many people write me? Like, I'm not opening that up. That's overwhelming. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind with them popular men. It's a lot of folks trying to reach them, trying to contact them. I'm like, this is my. I don't even want to see this phone. Honestly, I want to see their phones. But yeah, can't nobody really talk to me. I limited access drastically. I get on the internet when I want to get on the internet. I share what I want to share. I'm not pressed about making money on no platforms. If I get paid, I get paid. If I don't, I don't. And that's just where we are. And life's been much, much, much better. Were you talking about my brows, Kiki? I plucked them. Like, I already don't have to get them arched that much. And I had to grow these out like 2 years without them getting waxed. And so I'm trying to budget right now. And last night I was like, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I was supposed to send my mom in a picture, but I think it turned out pretty crisp. Like it to me, it looked like when I get them wax minus, like I need the little spoolie. I think the top, I didn't tweeze the top, but I probably could have tweezed the top. But I thank God for that too. Like when I was telling y'all, like we naturally got it. I don't even wear makeup. Everybody need to be for real. I don't even wear makeup. Stop playing with me. But God knew different things. And my mom always said her babies look like they had on makeup naturally. And I still believe that. I still look like it. I feel like it looked like I got on light liner sometimes. And I don't. My lips just naturally do that. My sister's eyebrows are immaculate. But these are mine pretty natural. If I don't bother my lashes, which I haven't been doing, they grow out. Like I used to pick my lashes because I was stressed, but I haven't been bothering them. And my mom was like, "Are your lashes getting longer?" I was like, "It's really crazy. You would notice that because I've been trying not to bother them, ma'am." So I might reshare that video. Like you naturally have all those things people pay for. And y'all want to know something crazy? No shade to nobody with a BBL, but I saw one the other day and I was like, I cannot imagine not loving myself enough to getting a booty that looked that fake. What? I was like, God, I'm too sensitive right now. It's the fast that did that. It has to be. Because I'm like, oh, you go ahead with your bad self, girl. I was like, dang, like I wonder where she is mentally to get that done. But I'm not judging. I was just thinking about that when I seen it. I was like, I don't think I could do that. I actually do think I love myself. And then I was watching this girl that I love on Instagram, and her name is Paige and Dr. Dre. Love her. She was saying, who y'all think these surgeries be modeled after? Because her natural body really is like banging, but it's natural. Like you can tell it's natural. Like that's her. She works out in the gym. She works hard for it. So I don't know. I'm just happy. Like y'all, we're great women. Don't forget that. We are really great women. Let people treat you right. Get better experiences. Don't be scared to get better experiences to kind of overshadow the bad ones. More life. All right, y'all, let me go. Team No Makeup. I'm gonna learn how to do something though. I'm gonna learn how to do concealer only. I'm gonna see how that goes. If y'all know which concealer I need to get, let me know. But my camera is doing the opposite. But I'm gonna try to do concealer only to do these deep set eyes. I think that's what you call that phenomenon. And then even at Morgan's wedding, I don't know if I just yapped too much, but I had these lines right here from the makeup, and I was like, that's very noticeable to me. Like I feel like if I didn't have my makeup, I would have been straight. Like I would have been camera ready regardless. We could have just did my lashes. They're like, no, Megan, everybody else's face is done. I'm like, I like me without makeup though. Like I'm Gucci. And they were like, you have to get the makeup done. I said, whatever. And then I had them crease lines because I talked too much. I'm like, Lord, what happened? So take care of your health. Do all the stuff you're supposed to do for your health. All right. Oh, you can tell I ain't got no job because I'm just steady talking. Bye, y'all. I love you. Have a great week, great day. I probably will come back so we can talk about this breakup word. Let's do that. I don't know when, but we'll come back. Love y'all. Bye. I'm gonna share some old videos. Older videos. They're not that old.